side, but it's a long series potentially. Let's see what happens though as we hop into the rift for game number 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Alrighty, here we go. Game number 1 of the second matchup here at the Udibank 2025 LCK playoffs. And this one, a lot of us expected to go the distance, but you expected the 3-0. As we're going to have a little level 1 actually from KT against Braum.
I think a lot of people will be shocked by my 3-0 prediction. And I will explain the reasoning very briefly. It's
I was curious.
The same reasoning I said when you and I were casting Nongshim last time. I was like, oh, it's going to be Legend Group Diff. But also, the coordination from KT has just looked better than BNK's. Even though BNK look really good right now, they're playing through bottom lane incredibly well. They've solved their identity problem, I think, that they had a lot of this year. And then they're building drafts around that, so they look better. But I still think KT is the stronger team. If you don't think it's going to be a 3-0, I think some of that comes down to the fact that Fearless Draft is quite unpredictable, and as we get deeper in the series, sometimes teams build compositions that are less standard, and then the volatility goes up. So I could see that happening, but as an official prediction, I think KT should take the 3-0. But I say that right now, again, with a lot of caveats, and I'm hoping that BNK really shows up today as they did in play-ins, because that just continues to be such a cool story as a team that's never participated in Worlds.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, to explain the BNK side, it just feels like we've seen a lot of times, especially in Korea, but pretty much everywhere. As we do have some pressure here. Just going to hit level 2 first. This is expected from Lucian Braum, especially against a melee support of the Leona. Going to hit level 2 here first. But yeah, having that momentum from the lower bracket, which in this case is the play-ins, is pretty huge. And the fact that they have looked so strong and very consistent, it's not very BNK, so it's a very good look for the team. It shows a lot of development. And so I feel like I was giving that a lot of credence and saying, like, these guys deserve the respect and can even catch a KT that off guard that's not quite ready, that hasn't played through that play-ins bracket.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I went for the 3-2, though, because KT is a fantastic team, and I do think that they should be able to at least win 2 games.
Since we got to best of 5s, seems like going to game 5 is a pretty safe bet as well.
Yeah.
So Diablo didn't take barrier. Is confident enough they're going to win the level 1 with this Braum, as he is going to be able to get out of here.
Yeah.
And he does have cleanse, so he knows that when Peter hits level 2, if he goes for the re-engage, he has cleanse advantage. So it's kind of rare to see Lucian go cleanse in a matchup where you want to dominate, but he's just so confident that he and Kellen can get it done at level 1 that he takes the cleanse for safety elsewhere instead. So pretty risky choice, but it is going to pay off here in this lane. Yeah. Kellen does have to heal, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, Kellen does have to heal, but they're still putting on so much pressure here as the stun is going to come out from Peter, but no cleanse just yet from Diablo. Cleanse very OP into Leona.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you press it once for 1 stun, and then it reduces all the future stuns for, you know, I think it's like 5 seconds or so after the fact. As Raptors bottom lane. Anyone
again
surprised?
Yeah, this is what he does. He just pats bottom. By the way, look at all the vision he has set up here. He knows that Cuz is nowhere near the area, and they even go deeper to the Krugs to verify that fact. And this is going to deny a significant amount of farm from Duckdom, who finds himself significantly far behind. Peter is going to go over here and hold this wave for a minute and get some additional information, and then they're going to have that back to come through. But tons of bottom side vision here for BNK. Great start for them in this bottom lane. This has just kind of been the bread and butter for this squad right now, and you trust your AD carry well enough to continue that pressure. And now your support, who's also making the big plays down there to set that up. It's definitely a good call. This top lane is going very well for clear, and you mentioned BNK's early draft prio in the lanes. It is working a treat.
Yeah, this is their comfort zone, and we just got to see just how much pressure they can put on. Because if you give BDD room to side lane, if you give Perfect a chance to come back after what should be an early deficit against this Rumble, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt against KT. But for the early game, we know what BNK can do, and they're extremely aggressive. They're overly aggressive most of the time, but they're able to win it back with more aggressive play. So definitely looking forward to the action in this one. A little bit different from what we saw yesterday, hopefully.
Yeah, so far some aggressive plays leading to a significant gold lead here for B&K in that bottom lane, top lane. Smaller lead, but still significant, as Cuz hasn't really been able to make any impact in this game just yet. He's going to head down towards the bottom side of the map right now. He's going to scry, just try to find where Raptor is. The angle is good there. Decides not to try to make a play. And we just kind of reset back to normal here. The early fights around these grubs, the skirmishes, is going to be really pivotal, right? And when we get to the mid-game, that's when this game will probably be decided, right? Where Diablo and Vikla sets up the shove, Diablo looks to burst somebody down, Clear drops an equalizer, you kill somebody. But the same is true of KT, or as Peter is lurking. Vikla found.
Gonna drop down a wall, but it gets denied as the flash away. Peter's going in, but there's 0 follow-up damage. Vikla totally fine, gonna get the plant on top of it all. And now Peter's way too deep, should be first blood, given over to the side of Diablo's Lucian.
The equalizer gonna prevent them from following up on this as well. That's a level 4 Corki. Might just look for a bit of a smite steal. I think that's the best they can hope for.
Yeah, I mean, Duckdown's pretty healthy, so he's trying to frontline here, but now he's just going to get engaged on. Has to flash away. The steal does come through, though. Cuz going to be good on the smite button, as he always is. TP comes back from Peter, but the rest of KT is so low. Nobody can help this Leona. And yeah, you got the Drake, but now you're 2,000 gold behind KT.
Yeah, that was
a massive fight.
Big disaster from KT. They were able to get the smite steal with Cuz, but I think that was the best they could have hoped for. Perfect goes in with his ult as well. He's hoping, oh man, these health bars are so low. Maybe we can clean up this fight, because if you win that fight, you get such a massive swing. But I think they should have been happy with the end result of getting the dragon here. As this follow-up, unfortunately, they're outnumbered. Like, Diablo's coming over here with full health. Peter is way too deep here. They just don't have the damage to back this up. Cuz here doesn't really offer much damage, right? Duckdom is zoned away. He's full health, so he comes up to try to frontline so that Cuz can get the steal. That's successful, right? That ends up being a 50-50 here that is successful by the side of KT as Perfect goes in. But I think at this point, you just sack Perfect and leave. Peter shows up, but I think his best option here would have been to try to help his teammates get away. Instead, he goes back in. Again, so low are the health bars of B&K. They just get bonus gifts here from KT in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the early scrap from KT against B&K of all teams, when they're down a member, it just felt like they were scrambling. Not the best choice from KT, and B&K welcomed it with open arms like we knew they would. As now Pantheon is going to come in. KT want to force more fight against this team, which I would say is a bit confusing, especially because Raptor is here. Trying to be proactive as KT, and it's not going to pay off this time.
No, certainly not. Does give Duckdom some alone time here in this bottom lane, and they're just going to sack Grubs and try to get this Corki out of the hole. But with 3 kills on the Lucian, keep digging. I mean, trying to dig out is maybe not the right metaphor here, but he is going to be able to pick up a plate, at least in the bottom side. But this is 3 Grubs, 2 B&K. They don't have the stronger side laning team, but it's denial of the powerful side laning that we've talked about here in KT's draft, so that feels fantastic. On top of the gold lead they already have, and maybe they could even set something more here up. Vikla's almost got his Weaver's Wall back online.
5 people. Already the damage is coming in. TPs from both mid laners will join up, as now Perfect just trying to survive the public execution, but already a bit low. See the B&K, everybody grouping up for this one. Flash forward from BDD just to get away from the seismic shove and trade a little bit of damage. Duckdown, meanwhile, getting some free damage on this bottom turret. Not half bad for KT.
Yeah, eliminating a few hundred gold of that deficit that he had over or under Diablo. But at the end of the day, this still is a pretty big win for B&K. They wanted more out of that. They committed Vikla's TP, but not the Weaver's Wall. Perfect's ult wasn't great, but it's enough. BDD loses Flash to try to make an aggressive play, get some damage on, which deters further diving. But really all KT got was a bit of a dent in that 80 carry spot. As maybe if Clear had ult, he could make something happen here. Don't think he will.
Nah, just matching Perfect, and Peter's going to leave, so now Perfect is very much all alone. It's not going to be a kill, but it pushes him way out of the lane, and he doesn't have TP.
Yeah, so this early game looking very good for B&K. KT with some very aggressive, decisive, I'll say, but aggressively decisive decisions that backfired in a big way. I think the call to leave Duckdown bottom there and not fight for Grubs was correct, and I think the concept there for KT is, look, we'll at least get some money on our Corki. Maybe they'll overextend here and we can get something back. Diablo takes that ward out. Very nice. And this game can swing back to KT if they win an upcoming fight, or they're able to gank aggressively with Realm Warp and the Grand Starfall a few times here. But I think BNK now just kind of need to sit on their lead and take safe fights around the prio. They should be able to maintain. They already had lane prio. Look at the vision around this second dragon here. And it spawns in 50 seconds. They didn't get the first one, but they got the gold from it. And I think KT probably wouldn't choose to spend 2.3 thousand gold for an Ocean Dragon if they if they had the choice again.
Yeah, not worth. Feels pretty good as a singular dragon, but it's not helping them at all from this deficit. And they have so much prio in mid now. It's not the old Lucian Nami with Imperial Mandate, one-item power spike, but it's still a extremely fed Lucian who just gets to sit mid, and Duck Dom just kind of sits here and farms the wave behind Diablo and tries not to interact. And that's not priority for the Corki.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a Drake here for B&K, and I think because KT got the first one, I don't want to say they should be happy to give it up, but I think they should be willing to give it up at this point, because trying to fight in this again, I think would arguably be more disastrous than the last time they went for it. They are kind of posturing for an opportunity here. BDD does have Realm Warp in this bottom lane to try to join up if there was an opportunity, but instead he's just going to push that wave out as fast as possible. Just be Rise, use that wave clear to try to cost B&K some minions. Don't think he'll even get that as Vikla rotates over very quickly. And the Dragon is a trade leading into Cloud Soul here for game one. And so far, holding on to the lead pretty well. Sure, it's not as big as it was, like it's shrunk a little bit, but you can just use the advantages you have now to hold on to this game. Maybe get more.
Yeah, they're just going to find Peter here, Cuz nearby, but now we got a wall as Vikla will join up, and Peter going to get knocked back, and no escape for him. That's a nice little pick. They were just kind of hanging around that Drake and not really doing anything about it, trying to get vision down, and they also get punished for sticking around too.
Leona can do this when your teammates are nearby. You take so much damage. Like, Keria is such a master at this. We've seen Lehens be a master at this. Even Kellen, of just sitting on Leona and making it look like you're a juicy target, absorb a ton of cooldowns, and then the re-engage comes through. But Peter was just a ragdoll there. His teammates were nowhere near for a follow-up, and so B&K very aware of this, so like, thank you for the additional gift, as it almost looks like they're trying to bait this, but you don't win these because Weaver's Wall is up. BDD does not Realm Warp in. If he comes in and matches this Weaver's Wall or is there first, then maybe you could have a play here, but instead, he just kind of has to watch on as his teammate is eliminated for the third time. Peter, 0-3 on this Leona in game one.
Yeah, not the best start, that's for sure. But, you know, he's frontlining. He was going very deep in all these early engages. Oh, the barrier's going to keep him safe. But he does have to use barrier, so I think B&K will be okay with that trade.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely are. It's like a win for them no matter what.
Yeah. Stopping the back would have been more valuable, but at least you get something. And BDD has started his Rise side laning arc.
Yeah, this is like the BDD 0-4 Rise in side lane forever that we saw from the other day. It wasn't enough to win the game, but he did a lot later on. He is going to try to finish the work that Duckdom started here. In terms of plate health here, they win this race, especially with the Ambessa TPing over. I think this is definitely going to be a win here for KT. They should be able to pick up first turret.
Should be able to,
I think so.
I think just the fact they had so much damage on the turret as the plates go down, and right there, KT's going to pick up that first turret as Diablo just alone in mid lane, trying to set up a play on a Diablo who does not respect it, but he gets away somehow! And now they're so deep behind the turrets of B&K, and they do get punished immediately for that. Duckdom should be going down here on top of it all. Double kill for Vikla. And they're even looking for a bit more, but it looks like KT should get out.
I mean, this is one of those moments for Diablo where you're like, man, you're really walking a tightrope. I guess this time you get punished, but in fact, he barely survives. Has to use both summoners, but gets away, has the equalizer to follow up from Clear there on the turn. And KT, 0 kills to 7, 3,500 gold behind in this early game. It doesn't get much worse than this. They got the first turret. That's 1 feat of strength, I suppose, in your pocket here. As this initially is fine. You got the slow from Leona. He flashes away, cleanses here, and then dashes through. Kellen's there to save. Has the ult. It's not the best ult, but look at this from Clear. He shows up, and now you're on the wrong side of the map. And Duckdom misses his barrier now. because Ashley does a ton of work to Vikla and kind of spaces him well there.
Yeah. Maybe could have gotten that.
I don't think he gets the kill, but it would have been closer.
Yeah. It just means that B&K with this early lead are just able to take everything off the map. They'll get this Rift Herald on top of it all. I do like that KT have identified their position and they're trying to make plays, but unfortunately for them, it's not working. Like, I think the idea behind it is kind of fine, but nothing is really working for them. The dive was way too over-aggressive. But the side laning, they know that's their win condition. They're trying to get perfect and BDD in the side lanes.
Yeah, that part makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, the aggressive dive on Diablo kind of also makes sense because he is alone there. But at the end of the day, like, he's not alone for long, right? The rotations come over and ends up backfiring in a big way. Even if you kill him, I don't think that's necessarily a win because you use so much. They were going to get the Herald afterwards anyways. And Drake spawning in 40 seconds here. They have Herald to gain Prio. They could just get a free turret here in the bottom lane. That looks like is exactly what they're going to do. But look at the vision. Like, KT weren't even really planning on showing up. They're like, well, I guess we'll just casually grab a turret here as well. And I think KT's best counterplay, cross map, if you will, is to try to grab mid turret. And even that seems a bridge too far. BDD is alone in the top lane. Let's see, how good's your driving?
He could get this mid turret if he actually has good driving. He's not going to go for it. Would be kind of a bridge too far. I mean, he's Xinjiao, so maybe he could have tried for it, but they were right there, so they could have just damaged it before he hit the turret. So.
It did kind of get them to pull away from the mid lane a little bit. BDD got some extra side laning done here on the top side at the same time, though. And I do think that KT probably should avoid fighting from now on and just stay inside. It's like, let them have the next 2 dragons, probably. I don't think you really want to force without any control over the map. Just let BDD sit in the side, stack up those Rod of Ages stacks, and get your Seraphs online, and then start building for that 3rd item where once Ryze is level 16, he's going to do massive amounts of damage. You know, the Corki as well, looking for that 2-item spike. Like, he's 0 and 1. It's just that the Lucian is so big. That's the bigger problem. Not the KDA of the Corki or Duckdom's play in this game. It's just that Diablo's so fed early. BDD is not going to get punished here. Has that Pantheon to shadow him, which is why we're talking about Ryze and Bessa so strong with Pantheon insides in this game, and even down 7 kills here and 3,500 gold. There is some real side lane pressure they can put on.
Yeah, there definitely is. I just wonder if they're going to get to that point. As by the way, from earlier, if you were curious, Diablo survived with 7 health. So it was very close. Kellen got there right on time. Even just 1 auto would have killed him. And so now we're at 7-0 because of that 7 health play. And, you know, just if you only had a fed Lucian, he's a low range guy. You've got a decent amount of CC. You have nice setup. Maybe they could deal with him, but oh boy. Now Cuz in a really awkward spot. He is going to have to flash out of this one. Although the wall doesn't really punish him on the backside of that.
Yeah, he does get away. Sees that wall coming down and he knows what's up. His teammates are nowhere near. Down flash doesn't feel good. And now they're just scrambling to defend this mid turret. Because everyone was grouped up topside, that's the turret they were trying to side lane for. They can't get that. There's no one side laning in the bottom lane. They just really want to keep this turret alive, because if you lose this turret, and Vikla can look for really, really strong long-range Weaver's Wall engages to try to catch you in your own farming mid lane, that's when things get really disastrous. They are kind of looking for it just the same here. Realm Warp is available for BDD on the side of this fight. I think they're just going to push another wave in and say, that's my turret.
Yeah.
And there's, like, the side lanes aren't side laning for KT. They're trying to defend this turret and failing, and so they get nothing. There is no cross map.
Yeah. Kind of the worst result for KT, kind of just sitting around watching their turrets die. I think that B&K can always force that turret to go down, especially with Rumble, right? Like, you just put down an equalizer and they can't really approach, and the fact that he's fed and the Talia's fed and the Xinjiao's fed, the Diablo, Lucian is fed, you just don't really have a chance of holding that turret. So sitting around and watching it die also not going to feel very good. B&K, they know where their bread is buttered as well. They're just going to stick as a 5-man unit and try not to deal with the side lanes and continue to try to push this lead.
Yeah, just I think for B&K, you literally just push waves and group for the next objective. And then you just rinse and repeat that. If you mess up a fight against KT or fail to answer some of their side laning, then there's a way back into the game for KT, but I don't think that mistake will be made. Duckdom's sitting on 2 items now. There are a lot of KT members down here on the bottom side of the map looking for an Otacon threaten, as B&K not starting it just yet. Looking like Perfect is alone. Peter's seen, though.
Yeah, now they kind of get caught in the gambit, so they just have to back off awkwardly. This is going to give full control of the pit here to B&K. There's a ward here on the Otacon, though.
BDD can push this wave really quickly in mid to put B&K on a little bit of a timer here. You see Vikla is going up now to answer that wave, and he does have, again, Teleport and Realm Orb. He's going to back right now before he does join this fight. I think B&K need to be decisive, need to make a call, and the call is to start this Otacon. Only solo, though, so the resistances here are not being shred by B&K. I love how they're playing this. They're just like, no, Raptor can tank this by himself. We're just going to go prio or bust. Look at the flank angle from Vikla as well. He can punish the advance.
They are so ready to fight. Like, they are just so ready. The wall is perfect. Cuz is totally caught out, and down he will go. Now you don't have a smite, and they keep the Otacon leash. B&K are playing this perfectly, and KT don't really have an answer.
Now there's just no smite for KT.
Oh, and Peter just kind of hanging around. It looks like he might go down as well. They're trying to fight 4v5 as perfect execution is going to miss. They do get Kellen, but that is it. As the Otacon will go down.
I don't know.
Picks that up as well.
I don't know if I've seen a cleaner Otacon take from a Rise team this season. They had full control of the bottom lane. They put Raptor on it solo. The rest of the team pushes up. Vikla's in the Dragon Pit saying if KT walk over to contest, we're going to go for the collapse. They know their target. It's the flashless Pantheon. Remember, he had to flash earlier against the last Weaver's Wall play from Vikla. He narrowly escapes there, but doesn't have his flash to get out of the engage. And once the Pantheon is down, it's a free Otacon. Look at the angle from Vikla. He's like, you guys can't be here. Equalizer perfectly placed. It's a death trap here. And the one who's left, the one who has no mobility, the one who has no flash is the jungler. And a Raptor can stay on this solo. KT feel like they have to try to force something. And unfortunately for Perfect, he's just a little bit too short on this ultimate. It looks like it hits. I mean, it's so close. Diablo flashes away. And sure, they end up getting the Braum, but it doesn't matter. It's free Otacon here for B&K. Such a good setup.
That was just really clean. I think it is actually the cleanest Otacon we've had from a Rise team. That's for sure. I was thinking maybe the cleanest I'd ever seen because it just was that clean. But, you know, we do have teams like Gen.G, Hamalive, T1 who have had some really clean ones. And now we're setting up for another Dragon. And KT just feel priced in. They just feel forced, like they have to take these fights. But again, this is what B&K wants.
Yeah, I would rather have BD in the top lane where they just kind of stay around here and have a Rise side lane. Instead, they want a team fight.
Oh boy, they're gonna catch Cliff again! And now the Equalizer comes down. He has to flash away. He might just burn away. At the same time, just barely gonna live. And it's an obvious Drake that goes over to B&K with Cuz nowhere near. And they don't even get the kills, but I think B&K are totally fine with the way that one played out.
I mean, BDD doesn't have teleport. I get it. Like, if he's trying to push top lane, obviously he can't join the fight. But if he just kind of sits way far away from everyone, and then once again the Pantheon gets caught by a shove, you don't get anything anyways. You watch the Dragon go down, and you don't get any power for your Rise. KT really thought they had an angle there. Perhaps they don't realize how far behind they truly are. I mean, they must. I mean, you would think they would, but it's like, it's a 4-kill Lucian. You mentioned earlier, if that was the only problem, then you'd be like, oh, okay, well, this is still winnable. All we have to do is kill Diablo or push him out of the fight, and we can win. But it's a pretty big Rumble, you know? It's a pretty big Talia as well, who's got item advantage over BDD right now. And the highest gold in the game is Diablo. This shouldn't be a shock to anyone. Like, KT can press tab and check.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit surprised how KT is playing this one out. Just kind of disrespecting B&K's team fighting and their setup here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking that, you know, they feel forced to take these fights, but as we've kind of highlighted, I'm not really sure that that's the case, or at least you had time to try to catch up, and unfortunately they've spent that time trying to team fight instead. And now you're on a real timer because B&K will get Cloud Soul, so now you have to fight for the next one. Whereas
yeah, you could have avoided this one.
Avoided it.
You could have got like BDD could have an extra turret worth of gold in his back pocket probably had he just said, guys, like hang around the Dragon, but don't commit. Let them have it. I'm going to commit to top side there. Instead, side lanes don't exist. They aren't real with our Rise, Pantheon, and Bessa comp. And KT, the consolation scuttle here at the end of this, but there's just nothing to take, and there's no way they can threaten a Baron take or anything like that with the side lane pressure now. I mean, the side lane pressure that doesn't exist, mind you. Yeah. This game is incredibly one-sided.
It definitely is. Like, the gold lead doesn't tell the full story. Like, 4,000 at 25 minutes isn't gigantic, but if you've watched the way it's played out, B&K have controlled everything. And everybody's building very tanky as well. You've got double Black Cleaver, a Black Cleaver here for Diablo. We have Rylai's second for Vikla. He's done this before. So it's going to be very difficult to try to catch someone out with your Pantheon and Bessa Leona if everybody is very tanky. As Ducktom, very close call. Vikla,
good placement
getting in
by
there.
Vikla. Was really close to actually stopping his Valkyrie there. Guy is looking clean right now. Perfect KDA, but so is pretty much everyone else on B&K. Only the one death for Kellen. But good placement there. Tried to get Duckdom to flash. Duckdom just barely able to get away. But I mean, look, the whole map is dark for KT. They can't see anything. And they don't have the ability to get that Ryze into the top lane to push that turret anymore. They need a miracle fight, and now they're getting flanked.
It was a nice ward there that saw them move into the front bush. But that was really all they had. And that's why KT are kind of just sitting around here.
I think to kill Diablo alone is not enough here. Sure, he's the 3-item fed Lucian, but you still have to kill this Rumble. You still have to kill this Talia.
Uh-oh.
And they just have no vision. The whole map is black.
Duckdom can't be the guy that's going through the bush, too, you know? It's got to be Peter, and now he's going to go. He gets exhausted, and unfortunately has to engage now. They do get on top of Vikla, but he just flashes away. Nice, though, as Vikla is getting low. They do take out BDD on the backside of this fight. The fight very broken up, but full health bars for B&K on the back line. But Raptor will go down, it looks like, in a trade for Cuz. And so it's 2 for 2. Diablo continues, as he always does, and looks to push for more. As now they go in. Perfect's got to be careful. He gets concussively blowed, and that's going to be the end of him.
Yeah, I guess he just thought his Maw was going to be enough there against the magic damage coming out from Clear. It certainly was not. He gets stunned by the concussive blows and just gets burst down. They wanted to save the turret. It's a 2 for 2, but the advantage in post-fight was always going to be B&K's. These types of fights, though, that are broken up are, I think, the best chance that KT have to win at this deficit. Look at how much damage Ducktom does to Vikla, forces him to flash, and then BDD on the side here is so tanky. He buys a bunch of space, and then Perfect's able to shove Raptor out of the fight. Ducktom flashes the wall, but unfortunately at this point, you can't get back in, right? There's nothing really more you can do here as KT, and then Perfect and Ducktom just try to stop this cannon wave. Perfect goes back in, gets concussive blowed and blown up by this Lucian. And, you know, it's like 1 step forward, 3 steps back here for KT.
Yeah. I really like the positioning of Ducktom there, where he was extremely far forward trying to follow up on Peter, because if he doesn't chunk Vikla out, then it's just like a massively lost fight, and they really don't have much pressure at all. So he tried his best. You know, he's really trying to walk the tightrope. Unfortunately, the tightrope is about to snap. The Cloud Soul is looking pretty free for the side of B&K.
And B&K's defensive objective takes. Okay, we're trying to trade for Baron.
All right, we're just going to send it.
I mean, BDD was lurking there, waiting for this play. As soon as they committed, he goes for this. Equalizer's dropped early.
Yeah, they're just going to try to take the fight without Raptor, it looks like. But the Smite should go the way of KT if they have the damage, but they don't. They're just going to pull off of the Baron. And the Gambit does not pay off, and Cloud Soul is secured here for B&K.
B&K are just not going to mess it up, man. Like, they're just playing so well from ahead, and sure, they have a massive lead. They've been ahead in this game. They had the lane prio and the objective prio for the entirety of the game. But it's how this team has evolved from early on in the season, where I think KT are like, yeah, surely they'll mess this up. But they just keep making all the right calls. Once again, they're going to suss this out because they had so much vision on it, and will rotate over. Raptor has his smite back here, but there's not a lot of vision. No equalizer this time. KT with a calculated risk, but they will back away.
Yeah, I do like how they're trying to send it. You know, it's like some big risks being taken, but it's not a risk if you don't really lose anything off of the back of it, I suppose.
It's just the way that KT is playing this constantly feels like they're trying to force a mistake, and B&K are just like, nah.
Cuz is very far up in his own jungle, thought he would be safe. He is Pantheon, but the knockback gets him. And that's going to be the 6th kill here for the side of Diablo.
Vikla just keeps, he just finds somebody, he shoves them, and they die. And every time he finds a Pantheon, it's been working out.
They're just playing it so patiently. Like, they're always ready to pull off of the objective. They're never fully committing. Even though there's no smite on the side of KT, they could just take the Baron. But no, they're just being so careful in this one. as they want to go for the turn here. The Solar Flare is actually really good from the side of Peter, and now the turn comes in as the equalizer going to force KT in. Perfect, getting 2 as you go to the back line. It's a double kill actually for Duckdom, but nobody can deal with clear as finally he goes golden. I think the wallets might just be too heavy. It's actually very impressive that KT had a fight that close.
Yeah, they can't do Baron, of course, so it's somewhat of a win here for KT. And like B&K, the defensive setups again on these fights are so clean. Cuz gets caught here, has his flash available, has to use it early, doesn't have it for Vicla's follow-up here. It's just so incredibly easy. And then here it's like, okay, we have Vikla and Kellen kind of frontlining as Vikla fishes for picks. Okay, maybe went too far. It's a double stun from Peter, but Clear has the angle. The equalizer placement means that KT can't really retreat. They have to force the fight. They do enough here. Diablo goes incredibly low, so the Baron is no longer takeable. You know, obviously losing your jungler makes that pretty tricky, but with everyone else, there's just no way they can do it. So again, a small victory for KT in keeping this game going, but really, I just don't know if you can really put it in the W column right now. Trades like this always feel good when you're this far behind. Like, wow, it's impressive that we could even do something in this game, but it's just not going to necessarily change the outcome. They need something bigger. Yeah. EDD level 17 here does not have his death cap, and he's just going to have to send it towards the Baron. I think they're just a little bit too late.
Redemption going to spot this going down and kind of put the cap on this one, I would imagine. With Cloud Soul and with the Baron, you would imagine that B&K can just push in here. They have 6,000 gold to lead, and they're looking for anyone. Duckdom is going to Valkyrie away, and Diablo is leading the charge. Here's the wall, and Perfect has to flash away. Diablo still in the front line. He's going to cleanse, but now Perfect goes in, and Pantheon goes to the back line, but the wallets are just too heavy, and they were alone, the two of them, trying to dive on a Diablo, and he's going to be totally fine. Looks like B&K with this push will end this game.
I'm getting a little bit excited about B&K, Valdez. This team is super clean. Look at this fight, too. They know the threats. They know they can turn on Perfect. The Pantheon coming through. They turn back and burst him down. It's what looks like an overextension from Diablo there on the front line, but actually pulls KT in. He's so fed. He does so much damage. He's got the shield bow. 0 and 6 Pantheon here for Cuz. Constantly shoved in. Peter, a ragdoll in this first game, and B&K make a statement here at the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Pantheon was their first pick in the draft, and I think starting from the draft through the gameplay was a lot more impressive, but the draft was great from Ryu and from the players, and the way they played it out was just...
To trust Ryu now, Valdez. I think B&K have the right tools in this game.
Well, I want to see it happen. Let's see if it does as we hop on the rift for game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Alrighty, game number 2, B&K off to a fantastic start. Remember though, yesterday, DK were able to get off to a fantastic start, and they kind of caught T1 unprepared, you could say. A little bit rusty, perhaps, and then T1 did come back to win the series, so still have to give credit to KT as the Legend team, as the higher seed, to potentially come back. Not saying that it's a guarantee, especially with how B&K played in game 1.
Yeah. The amount of resources Diablo is getting, we haven't really seen this too much this year. Like, we've seen it in previous metas, like, obviously T1 is the team that comes to mind the most.
Or funnel metas.
Or you just, yeah, well, it's funnel metas, but like, where you just play through like diving bottom side, Faker gets prio, they're playing double marksman, and it's like, Guma's going to take over the game. We're putting everything into this. It's going to work. But B&K have their own unique take on just put Vikla on any sort of utility. Went for the utility build the last game on the Talia. Now he's playing Morgana a second time, which is more protection because there's already Spell Shield for Diablo. Now he's going to have Black Shield, and he's going to scale incredibly well. Now, level 2 is a new level of committing to 80 carry pressure. He's actually not going to commit to the gank. He's just going to go over here and take this buff.
Imagine if he went pillar second. That would just be the most psychotic thing. Like the gank with the Trundle level 2 in the bottom lane. That would be insane.
If you look at Morgana's runes here, it's not going to help her win this lane. It's going to help her like try to do a little bit more damage back, as he's a Scorcher. As you can see already, though, on the minimap, Morgana is not really in a good spot in the game right now. Vikla did win on it, before. We didn't like it then. It worked, though, like we mentioned in the pregame. I'm not sure if it's going to work really well in this matchup either, as BDD is dominating the lane thus far, keeping it pushed in, keeping that prio. He's CSing well, though, and that is all you got to do in these early levels. As here comes Raptor. He's late, though.
Here we go. Duck Dom in a rough spot. They're going to heal. Diablo is getting pretty low, but they're not going to expect Raptor to show up, as now should be able to force this flash out of Peter. They get it there. And now they're on the chase here for Duck Dom. Cuz is going to show up, and now the feathers pulled back. Raptor in a bit of trouble, has to flash himself. As now Duck Dom just on the chase, the double flash follow. Gonna force that one out of Diablo 2. First blood given over to Duck Dom.
Yeah, it's just too good of a trade for KT in the initial salvo. They end up getting such a health advantage that even though Raptor's first on the play, he's still just a trundle and is not able to solve things there in that bottom lane, and the rotation from Cuz comes in. Wukong not really known for his early game skirmishing, but the advantages that Duck Dom had there, as well as the flash he had there at the end, able to do a lot of work on the chase down. So a lot of summoners are down. We have 6 summoners down in terms of flashes here on the Rift, as well as those secondary summoners for supports, but watch how this happens initially here as Kellen goes in, but Diablo gets knocked up, which means that he takes a ton of damage here from Duck Dom, trying to bait them in because Raptor's coming down. If you look at the minimap, though, you could see rotation of Cuz over. Duck Dom baits them into this brush here, and then, now we're too deep. And Duck Dom is able to get the Feather Call back. Raptor flashes away. They're able to follow with this flash here from Duck Dom. Cuz gets the follow-up flash as well. Does this without red buff, by the way, on the Wukong. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. This is the BNK we were expecting. You know, they start a fight and they're not going to back down. They don't run until it's very late. As, by the way, on this patch, Cassante 0 and 5. Morgan, 2 of those losses with Bro, Kingen, and Shiu taking some losses as well. So maybe Perfect can help the win rate of Cassante a little bit here today.
Yeah, Perfect not known really to Aatrox. As another loss streak here on the Alistair, as you guys can see. 1 and 5, but the last 5 in a row.
Perfect's going in on this one. He does have the shield and the dash. He's totally fine. But not exactly feeling very good about this lane into clear at the moment.
Yeah, fine for now. Has a cookie, so that will help you when you have this much health. Certainly makes you feel like you can kind of do anything, but he just really wants to get this wave pushed in. Wants that minion so badly, and he is not going to get it.
Yeah. That's just the thing about Sion, is that early actually his trading is kind of ridiculous. Guess who's back? Back again. It's Raptor in the bottom lane. As who could have expected this? Apparently not KT. As that's going to be the end of Duck Dom. No flash available. Even Perfect has the flash. Was going to get flash shield bombed. And I mean, that's BNK right back on the board.
Clear flashes and his shield explodes and he gets one more auto. He's dead. He's also so incredibly close to 6 at that moment. Does get 6 now. And that's going to be the TP back from Perfect. Flashless now. They punish the flashless Xayah, who obviously doesn't have level 6. And they exchange their bottom side. Kellen even trying to get these minions to crash into the turret is unsuccessful. Just annoys Peter. And now Duck Dom's back, but the lane swap here, as they did get the flash out of Perfect. And again, pretty good start here for BNK. Obviously the initial bottom side play did not work out, but this time he's got control vision here. There's no flash for the Xayah, gets stunned and then pillared and just taken out. The kill going to Diablo as well as the worst of it here for K2. Picks up a BF sword on the return.
Yeah, I just feel like it should be very predictable at this point, you know, that Raptor's probably going to look for another gank, that he's going to try to get his bottom lane far ahead if possible. The first gank didn't work, but he can always come back. I think the second that Peter steps away from the lane, Duck Dom has to respect the Alistair. Like, he has to back away with no flash. But he didn't, and instead he's just going to go down, as now trying to trade onto Sion. Sion finds that very funny.
End up taking a decent amount of damage, though.
Yeah.
And it's going to heal up, though, off the fruit. Still a good position here, obviously, because this objective on the bottom side is up here for KT. So the lane swap not really giving a big benefit to BNK just yet, as they're not going to be able to punish this flashless Cassante on the top side, and Grubs haven't spawned yet. So this ends up being a big win here, as Clear does have level 6.
Wow.
And they respect it.
Yeah.
The rotation over from Raptor. He's so quick on this.
They knew it was happening, and I think KT just didn't expect them to heavily commit to it, which, as we know, this is what B&K loves to do, so they're going to say thank you for the leash.
And after game one, like, who could blame KT? It went so badly for them there. They're just not going to take that chance again. And B&K, big objective pickup here. Gold is even. Got a much more interesting game on our hands here than game one, but still B&K definitely feeling very good about this early game.
Yeah, absolutely. Early Ocean Drake going to feel very nice. There's actually a decent lead for the top laners this time around as trying to lock down BDD here. Raptor also in the fight. This is Aurora. As BDD gets another dash with the Z and just says goodbye. Very difficult to lock down BDD unless you're going to land the binding.
Still a really cool attempt there from Vikla, and it's a trade of ults that I think you favor as B&K. The Morgana ult, way less value than what BDD's ult's going to be, or would have been, on this Grub fight. Clear has his ultimate to get here from a long way away despite not having TP, and KT need to be really careful about the setup. No level 6 for either support. B&K have already gotten the first Grub smiteless here. I think KT is a little bit late on the play and just going to have to give this one up.
Yeah, the objective setups were so clean in game one. No reason to expect they're not going to be clean in game two. I mean, this is them right on the ball. Back again.
And the Trundle is just so powerful when he has level 6 into this comp. Like, if he ults either Cuz or Perfect, he's going to be totally fine in these initial fights. When you have that much setup, you also have the smite advantage because you have that damage coming through from BF Sword Diablo to take out the first Grub. It's just crazy. And like I said, they're playing so much through Diablo. They're ganking for him. They're getting him ahead. They have so much utility for him in this draft. It's the perfect front-to-back Sivir draft. If this game goes late, KT are not going to enjoy it. They need to get some sort of big tempo advantage in this game. The 600 gold lead they have now is not enough, especially sitting on 0 Grubs, 0 Dragons in this game. Undragon alone just buys you time, even if things go wrong later, which we have no reason to expect they suddenly will, but if they do, you still have that scaling Sivir in the back pocket. But right now the scaling Sivir is 200 gold up, 20 CS up.
Send Diablo mid already. Just 9 minutes into the game. They're going to send Vikla into the side lane. All the turrets have full plates, and KT, they want to go for a fight here. They're going to engage onto Alistar. Kellen says, well, okay, I'm going to lock you down with a stun, as in goes the Morgana with the ult. They're going to lock down Peter, and there's nothing that he can do. Rakan famously not very fun into the Morgana. Even in the mid lane, nice pullback here from the side of Dukdom, but now the follow-up comes in from Kellen and zones everybody away from Cuz, who was trying to get in there, trying to get that kill, but it's just going to go the way of Diablo instead. As now we got Perfect into this fight, it looks like maybe Diablo has stepped too far forward, and Perfect at least will get the shutdown onto him.
Still a really big win here for B&K, but for KT, you got at least one back in this exchange. But man, the fight's very clean here for B&K. Bit of a peculiar one for Cuz as he decides to chase and then pulls off and then goes back in as his Warrior Trickster comes up. Not able to secure that kill. Very frustrating for him. The biggest issue here, though, is the Cyclone engage is onto this Alistar, which then leaves BDD open, has to flash behind this pillar. Peter obviously has nothing he can do, is stunned and locked down. And then from here, it's like, what can you really hope to do? Dukdom finds this incredible flash angle here to lock Raptor down, who nearly dies. Again, Cuz, not the red buff here, loses the Warrior Trickster, but just cannot quite reach. Dodges a lot here, but eventually does get killed by Diablo. But once Diablo's flashed, Perfect knows he can go in here, gets the all-out off, and is able to take him down. So a trade back does go over, but it's a 2-for-1 for the side of B&K. Gold lead still, it's straight up even. Like KT had a little bit, it was whittled down, whittled down, whittled down, and now it's 0 practically in this game.
Yeah, still a very close affair at this point in time. You know, you mentioned the scaling of the Sivir and how she's going to really enjoy this late game. I still do have my qualms from the draft where it just feels like if you have Morgana mid, at least they don't have Karma. Like, at least you're playing AP Morgana mid instead, so you have a bit more damage, but you're still lacking, and only a Sivir in today's League of Legends might not be enough. I know it's Diablo, and he's got a lot of protection, but I'm not convinced just yet by this draft.
Obviously, Perfect landing into a Morgana. The Morgana's just chilling down there. We'll see what BDD can get done into this Scion pick inside. So far, really, it's just a brick wall. Only has a Bombies right now and those plated steel caps, so doesn't really have any magic resistance to stop the pressure here from BDD, but he just got so much health that it doesn't necessarily matter, right? And So the lane setups here kind of favoring B&K. BDD can't get anything done. There's like even able to get the slow off onto him, and now Perfect maybe the target. I don't think there's a wave here. There's not. So gonna reset, but they have Dragon Prio in the bottom lane, and now the approach becomes so tricky here for KT.
BDD cannot lane into clear right now. Oh, there's the lockdown actually onto the Rakan as again Peter, he's really feeling the pain from this Morgana. And Morgana came after the Rakan, so it's feeling like in these team fights, he just can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to lock down anyone who's just running at you and then just say, well, I'm going to take half your health bar away, thank you very much. Peter does have flash and ult here, and he may simply have to find a forced angle here if they're going to win this fight.
Oh, BDD is getting massively chunked as well. They can't fight anymore. Here comes Sion into the backline as now KT going to go for the engage. Big knockback here from Perfect. But they're already going to take down Diablo, and they might not have enough, although they are going to get the chomp here. Vikla goes down, B&K are trying to abandon ship, but another Sion Q, and the knock over the wall means that Peter has to get away. Raptor getting pretty low, BDD a bit out of mana, and I think that knockback does not hit means that the action will end a close fight in a close game.
Yeah, Peter makes that re-engage happen. I was talking about he's got flash, maybe he's the one to save this. His engage buys him enough space here to actually take a true fight. The black shield is actually used on the Sion on the initial chase. Dogtom gets hit by the slow, and then Peter's like, I've got to try something here. Goes in, gets a massive charm here with the Cyclone follow-up. BDD gets into the backline. So much damage done by Dogtom as well in this narrow choke point that B&K are fighting, and they're so beefy though. They take him out just the same, and I think if KT either hit this knock-up from Peter, unfortunately misses it, or BDD has mana, they could probably get one more back, but instead it is just going to be, again, an even trade in an even game.
And guess what? B&K say, well, that was cool and all. We're ready to fight again if you'd like. KT say, no thanks. It's Hextech Soul. And double Dragon here for B&K, so they are 2 steps ahead of KT. And so also, the game is even in gold, but
the wave clear that Diablo has means that they should always just be able to get to these objectives first. And as we saw in that last fight, the way KT got back into it was some good ult usage, right? But like Cyclone, the ult coming through from Peter, but when the ults are all down, B&K is like, well, my comp still does a lot. Like, Morgana still has Q, okay, and we still have this tanky front line. We also have a Sivir that's going to do massive damage, even on one item. So we're happy to just run it back. Whereas KT is like, at this point, I kind of need those R buttons. I can't actually fight you here.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I think B&K identified it as well, and they said, well, this is free for us. And it's just going to go miles for them in terms of getting ahead and trying to scale in this game. And just making sure you don't fall too far behind in terms of gold. Which KT do have a very slight lead. A lot of that is in mid, a lot of that is in top as well. So solo lanes are going well. As now Dogtom in a little bit of a weird spot is going to ghost and go for the Featherstorm, as once again we're fighting. Kellen is going to survive, has the redemption on top of it, and will be okay.
So many tools down though. Like, you lost 2 big ults again in this fight, and that favors B&K because they don't need their ults as much. Like, the Morgana ult, is it even real? Like, it can be useful, sure, but when you trade that for Aurora, all of her mobility, all of that burst she wants in a team fight, you're feeling good about that. Dogtom on such an incredibly long cooldown with this Featherstorm, and he's just not going to have that safety anymore. That Blackfire Torch is done here for Vikla. Going to add a lot more damage in these fights now with his upgraded Sork Pen boots because they have feats of strength. KT starting this objective up, but again, B&K, all they really have to do is show up. They're that wave in mid, and they're ready to fight. And they've got choke point control here.
Yep, trying to get into that banana brush, and this is what B&K's comp does. They're looking for Dogtom. They're going to force his flash already. Kellen probably going to have to do the same, though, as here they go. The engage comes in from the side of KT. Diablo in a big world of hurt gets super low. Meanwhile, Clear getting 1v1 by Perfect, who should take him down, and that will be the kill going to KT, and should be the Rift Herald as well.
Okay, they grab Rift Herald here. It's a really massive play from Cuz on the Flash Cyclone, and it's B&K that stepped just a bit too far forward, and even though Kellen has a black shield for the escape, the Cyclone is going to catch multiple members. Vikla here.
Vikla?
Just trying to be annoying.
He almost got it.
Sometimes you could steal those away with a cheeky burn. Not this time. But the Cyclone re-engage is saving KT here, as Cuz is the one on the Herald, and I think they just thought, oh, well, he's going to stick Herald and try to look for the smite. He says, no, I'm going to drop it and get on top of the whole team here. The Black Shield getting insane value for Kellen, but for Kellen only. Diablo, so incredibly low, is shoved away.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, somehow, mysteriously, the top lane fight was going the way of Perfect. Let's take a look at that as he is at half health. It's just the all-out. Goes in, gets the stun, and even has a cookie in his inventory.
Does a lot more damage.
Yeah, he does a lot more damage as he is an ult down.
We're fighting again, by the way. As here we go, Kellen gonna lock down Cuz, who does get out of there just fine after that one. Duck Dom super low, and the TP came in from Perfect, kind of not for much. And they didn't even get the mid lane tier 1, which is very unfortunate for KT.
Yeah, especially because the Sivir and Morgana are just going to shred these waves. They're not going to be able to get another one to crash in and take it down. So close, but so far here now for KT. We really want to commit to this. I just don't think they'll be able to get it. And that's a huge win for BNK on the defense there. But that last fight puts him down in gold.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's playing with fire, and down he will go. BDD assassinates him. A little bit of help from Peter. But, yeah, Vikla has gotten caught out once again.
Unfortunate for him. Looks like he is going for the Rylai's second for some additional slows. More utility than the damage I was talking about. He could have gone for a double burn onto this Cassante. So again, just all utility, all power for Diablo in this draft. On a ward, Vikla here goes for a Q. And it's the last one he'll see on this life. 80 bursts him down.
Yeah. Thankfully, he gets to respawn.
Yeah. TP mid, and they are going to get this turret finally.
Yeah. Should be able to. Vikla is going to respect it. And the gold pretty heavily in favor of KT at this point in time. Couple of big picks and fights as the Black Shield will go down on a Raptor. It's not going to save him, though, as he did not have the subjugate, it looks like. Meanwhile, underneath this turret, Clear continues to get bullied out. Down was a couple of levels, now it's 2. Diablo caught out by Peter, and down he will go in the mid lane.
And suddenly it's all falling apart, Valdez. KT just keep getting these picks, and this is not the same setup, not the same clean gameplay we saw from BNK just prior. It all starts with that Wukong flank, right? The overextension there, then the kill from Perfect in the top lane. Now the picks going into Vikla, then Diablo. 2 more kills over to KT. 4,000 gold is now their lead. And even though Double Dragon is BNK, as they get the first of the Hextex, BD is going to grab another turret here in the bottom lane. And Raptor here is just trying to fight for vision, fight for prio, just gets cycloned to death. Sure, he's caught, you know, he's Trundle, but he doesn't have ult, so... This is Peter calling for this, and look for it. To get it.
There you go.
Let's go bot.
Pretty simple. He has ult. He finds Diablo alone, and it's pretty elementary from there. So KT have this pretty massive lead at 20 minutes into the game.
Let's see if their Otacon take is as clean as BNK's was in game 1.
I think it needs to be. You know, Diablo hasn't really had a big effect on this game yet, but he's still only 2.5 item Sivir. He's getting pretty close to getting scary in these fights. Hasn't really been scary so far, though.
Yeah, and I think KT just don't have prio right now around this objective. They're trying to push mid and trying to pull BNK back, but BNK are just not going to take the bait. They're playing very defensively, very safe here around this objective. As it's harder for KT to go in, and they're better if they have objective control and they look for a turn or a flank, a cutoff onto the back line like we saw from Cuz on the Herald fight. But if they don't answer this mid push, I mean, eventually Duck Dom's going to get to this turret and they're going to start taking it down. It's going to get the ult out of Clear as well.
Yeah, Clear doesn't really get to play the game. Oh, the blinding on a BDD! The max range, and he is just out of this one. Shut down as Vikla.
It's hard to drop turret aggro as Morgana in this case, the Blackfire Torch.
Sure.
But he's a bit deep on that one. He got the binding.
Can they do Otacon? No, they're not gonna.
Think so.
Nah.
It's just not possible in this case, and they're not going to be able to defend their mid-inner either. As Duck Dom is just like, well, BDD's dead. I'm going to push this one down. Vikla knows he's very far forward here. And could have dropped the turret aggro a while ago. Oh,
he got it back
in, yeah, with the W. I think he could have just left. I think his teammates had that one. BDD's not happy about it. We saw on the player cam earlier.
Oh, he died.
How did he die? How did he die? Well, we know. He re-aggroed the turret.
We saw the replay. Yeah. So now it's, you know, they got a big shutdown on a BDD. It was 4,000 gold. Now it's 2.7. Still liking KT's chances. The fact that they have a multi-threat comp and Sion doesn't really exist right now. And Sivir, yes, did hit 3 items, but I'm still not convinced by this draft. We haven't seen a good team fight yet from it, as they might just try to set up here on Otacon once again, though.
I mean, they have so much prio that I think they certainly can, and KT have to engage into this comp. Again, it's so much tougher for them when they have to be the ones who make the call. Flank from Perfect to come through as well here. BNK, let's see how they decide to play this. They're going to look for BDD.
Yeah, they want to get on a BDD. It's Aurora with ult and flash, though. As the Otacon going to stay leashed, actually. KT going to continue on this one. But BDD very far away from his team. Doesn't have his ult either. And it looks like they just want to turn on the BDD once again on the hunt. But this Otacon is certainly in danger. It might just come down to a flip as BDD, and it goes over to KT. They get the Otacon, but BDD is out of the fight. Vikla now able to flash away. Flash on in from the side of Duckdom, though, will take him out. As now, a little bit of a rough one. A little bit of a scuffle as in they go. The Cyclone is there. Kellen still got himself with a massive play from Perfect. Just going to find everyone. And Diablo is not able to stand up to that. And KT knocked them down. The triple goes to Duckdom after the play from Perfect.
Yeah, we were talking about a lot of resources going to the Sivir. The Sivir's on 3 items, but the 2.5 items. Zaya is now on 7 kills, 1,000 gold ahead. Duckdom makes massive plays on it. They sacrifice BDD and get everything else. It's the feather callback timing here with Duckdom that allows Cuz to secure the smite. They get the Otacon. They turn on to Vikla. Raptor has the black shield here, but he's not able to attack or really get any value to anyone. And because Diablo is out of the fight chasing BDD, he's now zoned away. He does very little damage in this fight. Meanwhile, Duckdom is doing all of the damage. He's at full health. This play from Perfect gets the double Q3, has the all-out here on the Diablo. He is deleted. Duckdom picks up a triple, and KT are fully in the driver's seat of this game now.
Yeah, we weren't sure what to expect from Perfect in this series, but, you know, kind of like Sue yesterday, who kind of came back out of nowhere. I think Perfect is trying to make a case for himself as well. You know, he struggled a little bit in game 1. I feel like everybody on the side of KT struggled, though, so that's not really fair to call him out specifically. Cassante has been beautiful. He's been absolutely destroying Clear in the side lane, and now he makes that play. The guy deserves a lot of respect for what he's doing here in game 2.
I mean, the man is inconsistent, but on his best days, he is a terror on the Rift, and this is one of those games. You can see he has the highest experience on the whole Rift, and Vikla is now the target inside.
Yeah, ult's gonna come down here on a Peter, but there's really no escape for him as he doesn't have anywhere to go. Easy kill on the Vikla. Not gonna go for the Baron just yet, though.
Perfect here, still in control of this side lane. They get the pick top side. Don't think they can go for Baron, like you say. Have a 2-dragon lead. Can, though, you know, fight for vision around it. They have a ton of vision set up deep into the jungle of BNK. It's really nothing that they are unaware of. Perfect is going to get engaged on, but he doesn't care.
Well,
he has a blast
team
cone
is coming here, and they're doing Baron now. They're all chasing Cassante.
And there's no vision here, actually, for BNK.
Yeah, this
on
is
the Baron.
The most BNK play we've seen this series.
Must kill champion!
Yeah, and they will. They definitely will. I hope they at least get the kill over to Diablo as they get the news about, yeah, that will go over to Diablo. It's actually a lot of gold, but I don't think that KT care. They have 44 petals, Baron buff, Otacon, double Hextech Drake. They have a massively fed AD carry, a lot more fed than the Sivir, although now without Cassante, trying to make a play here is
Ellen
BNK.
on the flank. Maybe he could actually headbutt Duckdom. Duckdom has ult, though, and Ghost.
Yeah, Cuz gonna find him. Kellen, considering what he wants to do here, is gonna go for the ults. There's the flash on in, but the follow-up is just non-existent. And now KT does come in. The callback is massive from the side of Duckdom, and the damage is there. Diablo not quite able to do the same. And it looks like this might just do it here in this fight. KT roll over them and take them down.
KT Rolster in a phenomenal position now in this game to just end it. They have Baron. They don't know if they can necessarily kill the Nexus off this play, but there are some long death timers. We are 27 minutes into the game, and with this mid being completely open right now and the Baron buff minions, they are going to at least get a crack at it. They'll take out this inhibitor and look to push. 25 seconds left on the Sivir, which is the main source of wave clear. I think KT just have enough damage.
Yeah, they can easily take this one up. And with the Baron buff especially, they will be able to get on in and take down this Nexus, as Kellen and Raptor not going to be able to do anything. KT strike back, and we do indeed have a series on our hands.
This has been a good one, man. I'm really enjoying both sides of how this is being played out. Some big outplays from Duckdom in this game on the Xayah, but also perfect having that big glow up here in game 2 on the Cassante. BD sacrifice. It's very simple here. If KT make a lot of mistakes, they can just run away with the game if they snowball it. But otherwise, I am worried for BNK here in game 3.
Well, you got game 3 ready. Let's hop onto the rift right now.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we go. Game number 3. As with both first games going one apiece, we are technically now in a best of 3. But obviously very different from the best of 3s we're used to in the regular season, because we have 20 champions banned from Fearless. So
and now 30 moving forward, the rest of it. Kellen going to go for a bit of a sweep here. I don't think they really want to play against KT's level 1. Even though they have the Annie stun at level 1. And it's not going to be anything that eventuates here. We'll head back. Somewhat of a 5-point start here from KT at the end of things.
Yeah.
BNK secure their start, and there will be a leash here on the red buff. We'll head into a normal game. This is a interesting matchup. We haven't really seen this one too often, but for BDD, you just want to take trades whenever you can, and like when he has stun like that, you're like, okay, well, he stuns me, but then what? And then I actually just keep autoing him, so BDD knows this, goes in, actually saves his stun, and is just going to try to auto what he can.
He went for the shield first, so he put it up, and he was like, well, this is all I can do is just auto and run. So looks kind of sad for Vikla. But you're right, because if the Tristana gets in range, especially if he doesn't have any ability to stun, it's like so free.
And if he does stun, like BDD just keeps autoing. Has the lethal tempo as well on this Tristana. You have to be very careful. You need a little bit of support in this early game before you're going to be able to do anything. You don't win lane against Nico as pretty much any melee support, and that is going to be the case here for Diablo and Kellen. In this early game, level 2 goes over first to Duckdom and Peter. Nico is kind of broken right now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when they're going to fix. No stun.
Well, he got it back. Actually, a pretty nice trade. It's obvious that BDD is trying his best to take trades whenever he can, but got to be careful about getting too close to the sun, or to the fire in this case.
Walk through the fire. Remember that opening video?
Yes.
That's a good one. BD has only played the Tristana once, and Duckdom has been one of his worst picks this season. Peter on the Nico, though, we haven't talked about in a while because it doesn't see that much play recently because it's so strong, but he's one of the best, actually, in our league. It's one of his best picks, and it's kind of crazy that he got his hands on it in this draft. And there's just so much setup for the Jhin, and the fallback of that Tristana damage gives this comp a ton of longevity and safety. And like, if your combo hits for BNK, again, it's simple. You win fight. You press all buttons together, circles go down, you win. But if it doesn't go perfectly, if it doesn't go the way you want, you miss your engage, or BDD buffers something, he gets away and you wasted tools, then it is really hard to win the ensuing fights into what KT have here. Especially because they're turn and re-engage with the Nico ult and the stolen ults that Cuz has access to. It's pretty crazy.
We got a Skarner nearby as the engage comes in. Peter in a bit of trouble, takes a turret shot, extremely low, but he is very fast as well, so he's going to get away. They want to force more out of Duck Time. They're going to get his flash. So a nice little lane gank comes in from the side of Raptor. Good engage from Kellen. They were not expecting that.
No, they certainly were not, and it's 3 summoners down on the play. In trade for 2, but Raptor doesn't really lose too much for this, and we'll just go ahead and clear his Krug. So they lose the second Scuttle Crab as a result, as Cuz was able to double Scuttle. As soon as he sees that, knows he can't impact the play, goes up for that topside Scuttle. Peter ends up getting relatively low here as we're going to see the lane swap to come through. Clear comes over. And it's just going to be Kellen helping him out here for a moment before he'll go join his top laner. It's a pretty close to dangerous spot there for KT, but I don't think because of this lane swap, the fact that Duck Dom and Peter don't have sums is going to really be too impactful right now. After on a ward, going to look for the play regardless. The stun sets it up, and Cuz shows up and he says that.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Little fake out there. That was pretty cool. You don't see that every day.
Yeah.
Considering going in there.
What's it called when you like take your car and drive it around in a circle in the parking lot?
Donuts?
Yeah, donuts.
Yeah.
Raptor did donut there. But watch me do this donut.
It did look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. Threatened BDD got him to rocket jump out of there. But ultimately not too much. They are going to lose control of this dragon.
I mean, they see Raptor. Cuz is pretty low, clear. Oh, the flash comes out, and he should be able to get this dragon, but Cuz might be in a world of hurt. He's actually taking the trade decently against Clear, but eventually the rest of the team comes in, and Clear just stabs him with the sword. His first blood given over to the Aatrox.
That's really tricky for Cuz to try to maximize the damage to get into smite range there quickly enough. Then also be able to have his Kingslayer to look for the fight. So it's ultimately still taken out there, but gets the secure of the dragon. Well, it's a Chemtech start. Feels like a pretty high value one. And he will actually enjoy the healing from it himself. We'll watch this again. Cuz very low. This is a really confident play from Clear, knowing Raptor also can join at such quick speed. Flashes here, the knock-up as smite before Raptor shows up. Then goes for the Kingslayer to try to keep himself alive. What really just allows Peter to escape. I think the flash, pretty necessary there if he gets hit by a sweet spot. Then he just dies and won't get the smite. Looked a little bit funny, but yeah, I think the right call, the safe call in that moment.
It's crazy how B&K every single time in these games, they are just so possessive of these early objectives. They set up for every single one, or at least they will fight over every single one if KT starts on it. And it made more sense the first couple of games because they had a lot more prio, but even in this game, they're just like, no, we will fight. We've got our Aatrox on the bottom side of the map. We will use that.
I like your usage of the word possessive. They're a little bit dragon clingy.
Yeah.
Don't come anywhere near my dragons. That's my dragon.
KT has done it many a time. I mean, they've got a decent amount of dragons in this series. Remember even the first Ocean Drake in game 1. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That's all you have to know.
I think B&K is calling the Infernal Dragon right now, asking him why he's not in the pit.
Yeah.
Where are you? Who are you with?
I've called you 3 times already. Why didn't you answer the phone?
Kellen with a nice angle here.
Yeah, Duck Dom kind of in an awkward spot, and that's going to be the end of him. Hide on Bush works out very well, and they'll give this kill over to Diablo, of course, as he picks up 300 gold.
That's a pretty massive play there. Kellen just finds an angle there. A lot of greed from Duck Dom. Doesn't have his flashback yet, and that's what they were planning for. And that kill alone is just grub control. The cross map is an attempt onto Vikla, but he is totally fine. And that's a big win. You know, the side laning Tristana would have loved to have some grubs. Gonna be grubless here in game 3.
Yeah. We'll see if they can do the run grubless again, as they did in game number 2 and in game number 1, although they didn't complete that run. Now a little engage on a Tristana, very difficult. But Kellen always willing to send it if he gets an opportunity.
Yeah. And if BDD messes up the buffer there or isn't ready, then you get a kill. On this play here, Peter is in the area, but unfortunately just too far away. They don't have the numbers with Raptor showing up. He also doesn't hit the root on a Raptor. Wouldn't have mattered, but Duckdom knows he's 100% dead. Just walks forward to see if he can set up a captive audience and clear as many of those minions as he can. He's 20 CS down. You know, he was in the Nico Jhin lane, and he's getting massively out-farmed now because he died and they had the lane swap, and he just hasn't really been able to do what this lane and the 2v2 initially was set out to do. B&K playing this early game pretty well. It's a small lead, but it's all in that MF.
Yeah, the MF has it. You can see that Perfect's been doing a pretty good job of making Clear's life very unhappy once again. The Aatrox picked into the Renekton, and of course, still going to have value even if he does fall behind. He's only 70 gold behind because he did get first blood, so it's not a huge deal. But certainly is nice to see that Perfect is on form and utilizing the Renekton, I would say, as you would expect it to be utilized.
Cuz has
putting on that pressure.
Not been as impactful in ganks as Diablo is possibly in danger here. Peter has flash and heal. Doesn't want to commit, but
so slow.
Yeah, he really is. I was just going to mention, though, that the farm here for Cuz has gotten so many Scuttlecraft is pretty huge, as we are going to see a TP flank from BDD.
Yeah,
Clear is 100% dead.
He's just 100% dead. He does have his flash, but he's not even going to use it, as eventually the kill is given over to BDD, as once again, hide on bush. And now the Tristana going to pick up a plate on top of it all.
TP on bush in this case. And
well, it's also Perfect setting up in the bush, you know, just waiting. And the one moment that Clear thought he was safe.
Yeah, goes ahead and uses his Qs here, all three of them. Not that it would have saved him, I think, in this case. Has to pop his ultimate. Has flash, but BDD has ult. Doesn't need to use it, by the way, and gets to save it here. Almost felt like there was a moment where there was discussion about who's going to get the kill. Definitely should go to BDD. He picks it up, and B&K first on Dragon here after the reset. Looks like they may be able to even out Drakes, as KT are just a little bit too far behind on the play. So this is a nice little prize. Not sure how this all eventuated outside of KT looking for some recalls there as the Dragon was spawning. The Soul is Hextech again.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty massive as the flash comes in. They want to punish Kellen, and they absolutely will. Another kill given over to the Tristana as the pull comes in, kind of pushing him out of that one. Very confusing. Now Raptor in a lot of trouble, has to flash away. Gets hit by the first shot. It looks like he might just be going down. Fourth shot hits him, and Peter says, "That's my kill. Don't you dare steal it away."
Well, a little bit of extra money on that Nico. Raptor picks up his first item after that death. Saw that there go into his inventory, but Heartsteel, the standard first item here, but he is out-farmed by the Sylas in this game, and this is just a bizarre moment where Kellen is, like, he knows his award there, I'm pretty sure. It was placed on top of him, he's hanging around, gets blown up, and didn't play that safely, and the Raptor just kind of goes in here, looks for the Impale, and then says, look, I think you've been getting a little bit too much attention, Diablo. I think he didn't want to push him into the wall there because it would have pulled him out, and so he tried to spin it around, but it didn't work. As Perfect
trade in the top lane. Do they have enough damage? Yes, they do with the Q3 and another support kill. Kellen, I have no idea how he even got that. Did he just auto kill him, or did the Phantom Storm like do enough damage?
Yeah, I'm not actually 100% sure. That it's definitely not ideal when you commit that to kill a Renekton, and the kill goes that way. Is overcommit.
Okay. Baited, I suppose. And we're just continuously fighting here. Guess who's back again? It's Raptor. As Duckdom, he is going to flash and barrier. Root comes down though, and Raptor is just going to be outplayed once again. Duckdom will collect the kill this time.
If he didn't have summoners, I think it's a great play. But he barriers first, flashes away, gets the root under turret, and goodbye Skarner. 2 overforces here from Raptor, who only knows one mode. Maybe he should learn the other one in this game as Kellen looks for an engage on the Cuz, but Perfect's here.
Yeah, World Ender. I don't know if it's going to get him out, though. Cuz very fast. The extra movement speed from the World Ender, so he actually does kind of just walk it off.
Yeah, didn't even have to use his rocket belt. Ooh. Tibbers!
Tibbers lived with his little molten shield there at the end. So actually pretty decent value denying that gold from BDD.
Yeah, that's significant. Don't want to get any more money on this already fed Tristana. As the gold lead here over the Annie is quite severe at this point. Does have Merc treads as well, so Nicholas just not really enjoying his life in this side lane. Raptor, I think, can make a huge impact in this game, and I think he needs to. But some of these aggressive plays are disrespecting KT's ability to rotate over, disrespecting Duckdom's summoners in that mid play, and it's costing them big. Like, Duckdom gets a free kill. He was super far behind in this game, now a little bit less so. And again, it's not even a Jhin as your only threat. Like, there's a Tristana here with an insane front line. They have oodles of engage. So game state here really favoring KT at the moment. Diablo is really going to feel great about having this Bloodthirst from BF Sword, though, in the mid lane. Constantly have Prio, and they use it to try to find an angle here. I mean, Kellen is also hanging out. I'm just making noises.
he's just singing the whole game, man. It's not payphone, though. It's whatever Tristana's saying. He's having a good time, I suppose. 2-0 on Tristana. Can't blame him for it. B&K very possessive about this Drake. They're setting up everything around it, or at least trying to. It's
pretty early, too. I mean, only a minute is on the clock here, but it's enough time to where KT can actually reset. Gonna clear that wave in mid. BD hide on bush.
Yep, gonna hide on in there. Svikla just gonna throw his whole combo down, but Raptor was here, and so was the rest of the team. BDD goes in, gets baited by the Annie, and that is going to be the end of him.
And kind of a weird exchange there, but B&K just ready to spring onto BDD as soon as he jumps out of the bush there. They're going to try to trade this for mid-turret, but it's too healthy. There's only a small wave here. Vikla can TPN, gets caught.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Vikla, and they do get him. The question is, do they get out? The very angry Tibbers and this Aatrox, even angrier. Clear, trying to do a lot of damage to Duckdom. Going to change over to Cuz. Now the rest of the team is trying to join in here as B&K, they smelled a fight from across the map, and they come on in. The Magnet Storm, the circles, the ults on top of them are pretty huge. They don't get any kills, though. Lots of damage, but nothing to show for it. And now BDD able to come on back and help out with the kill.
The damage is too late. Diablo shows up way too late with his ultimate there. They had all the tools. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. You got to win the fight basically instantly as B&K. Otherwise, there's just too much follow-up in KT's composition. And BDD was dead until he wasn't. TP's in and makes the play there. Bit of an error in judgment from B&K once again. As this play here from Vikla doesn't have his stun yet, right? Just drops Tibbers down, is desperately trying to get it. BDD still buffers it, flashes away from Raptor's charge, but there's just too much B&K here. It's another kill for Diablo. This play they really heavily committed into, and I was a little bit worried for KT because you have the rotating over of the Skarner, and we know how difficult it is to kill Aatrox, who just targets Cuz for a second. He's like, that heal, thank you very much. It's just so incredibly difficult to kill, and they have all these circles, but look who's not here. It's the MF. Still coming over, still on her way, still gonna be here. Okay, there's the Magnet Storm. Killed a clone, got a arm guard, and then BDD shows up and he's like, I'm ready to get resets, I'm ready to pop off, I'm ready to carry.
And now they're going to be able to pick up this first Hextech Drake that comes onto the map. B&K not in position for that one, although Cuz kind of a awkward spot, gets denied at the disengage cone. He does have a BDD though, and having a BDD is the most valuable thing you can have on this map with these two teams.
Duckdom doesn't even need to use his summons to avoid this one this time around. Had both of them back available, is the target of this Skarner again. Like, you can see the thought process of why the Skarner's in this draft with the MF. The MF pushes the Jhin in. You have that wave crashing. Jin's immobile, is not very, like, is very easy to lock down from Skarner, so they keep trying to repeat this play, but it failed the first time. The second time Duckdom walks it off. He's trying it the third time.
All right, well, this time you got the summoner spell, you got the flash, and you can just be happy with that and back away.
The thing is, like, when you have this MF into the Jhin, instead of trying to kill the Jhin, maybe just move on the map and try to find something else could be the better play, as this Jhin is just chilling under turret, and the turret is a problem. If they didn't have a turret there, maybe it works out a little bit better. Maybe they can catch Duckdom. Maybe there's, you know, no rotation over from KT. They could extend the play. Just not a whole lot of vulnerable spots on the map outside of trying to get this Jhin. And again, we tried to get this Jhin.
All right, they're going to get the Jhin. They did it, Wolf.
Okay.
And they got a bonus Peter. Okay.
And this time, Vikla shows up.
That's huge.
That extra member of Peter going down is also a ton of gold. They have a gold lead now.
No way. No way. This is insane. And they have got more. They've got Impale. I mean, they didn't use everything in the last fight, and KT trickle in. B&K are just getting so much free stuff.
Yeah, Clear also just pushing inside by himself here. The inner is going to go down. They have the threat on this bottom inner turret now, and BDD is cut off. They should be able to get 2 inners out of this. Just a big mistake from KT is completely punished.
It's crazy.
And I guess if at first you don't succeed, try again. Eventually they get ducked on. Eventually this Jhin pick leads to an explosion of gold. It's a swing of, what, 4,000 gold, I believe, on the play here. B&K taking a full control of the map after this. Tons of money. And we haven't even seen the Misfortune item yet, or the back yet to buy that item. Is Duckdom this time with Peter here. Thinks he can hold his ground because it's Peter, but Peter gets stunned. Can't actually impact the play. He's thinking, oh, okay, surely they won't engage. I've got Pop Blossom.
Oh.
And then Cuz goes in on Tibbers for what? Like, I just don't get it. He has his Zhonya purchased.
Tibbers.
And like, if Perfect is here faster, maybe you go in, you go golden, and then the Renekton helps support, but they just gave him another kill, and then the turret and the bottom turret and KT asleep at the wheel on that one.
That's the roller coaster right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that swing is gigantic. It's like they fell off the apex of the roller coaster. And guess what? Otacon up now, 20 minutes into the game. So B&K say, well, we could just take this.
I mean, Kellen has Flash Magnet Storm. He's got control of this Tri-Brush. Good luck getting in, KT.
Yeah, it looks like they want to turn. Jhin ult is out. The Rift Herald is out here. They have Vision with the Nico clone. Feels like KT are doing a decent job as now the engage from the Rift Herald is coming on in. Gonna get the knockout on 2. And looking for Vikla as well, but now Perfect's just so far away from the fight. The 3-man knockup and the steal does come in from Cuz, but it's still 2 kills to the Aatrox. And maybe a little bit more. No, the Hexgate is going to get him out. The disengage Hexgate you don't see every day.
Yeah, pretty rare in a situation like this, but it does work. They're trying to get more out of this, though, because they just gave up the Otacon. They want to get additional kills here. As Cuz gets the stolen Impale, it does not really save them in the fight, but it is enough to help them secure the Otacon and get most of those lives saved.
He's got Flash. I just don't know if it matters, as he is going to hit him away. The jump is denied, and BDD is so low. Will he go down to the Rel? Looks like he will. Kellen picks up the kill.
A little bit less mysterious this time on the Kellen kill. There's a little bit more mystery on the positioning there of the Tristana inside, but just didn't expect this big collapse. And B&K, they lose the Otacon, but they just maintain so much map control. This team doesn't they grab onto you and they don't let go. It's like the teeth are sinking in deeper and deeper and deeper into the arm of KT. This is a pretty low value Jhin ultimate, and it looks like there's just no way KT can win this fight, right? Like, they just don't have the setup. Kellen is in too good of a position. However, Cuz is able to get in here, and the Pop Blossom from Peter really saves it. They have the root here on to clear, then they group up too much, and then there's a 3-man, allows Cuz to get the secure on the smite, but then they go in deep. Duckdom doesn't have his ultimate anymore, and it's just completely split up. The flanking Renekton isn't going to do anything, and then BDD, guess he didn't have any vision in the jungle looking at it on the second play here, and I think it was just a bit greedy. There's like no map control, there's no turrets outside of that top inner. Like, there's no safety.
Yeah.
If you want to rotate up to save him, you're walking into darkness. There's no vision.
And B&K will send their entire team to go kill one Tristana. That is what they will do. And BDD, it just seems like he hasn't fully adjusted to that, you know? Even the play on the bottom lane where he went all in onto Vikla, with Vikla didn't have his stun. But the entire team of B&K just immediately just rotated down, and they were already there. They were on vision.
Who needs smite when you've got an Aatrox and a Misfortune to take a dragon as well?
Yeah.
Free dragon for B&K as KT were all grouped on the top side of the map, and B&K were aware of it because they have vision control. They back away, take the dragon, and say, thanks.
Thanks very much. Yeah, the Aatrox is a big problem now. You remember in the lane, it was not good. And then, you know what he did? He bought Sundered Sky.
He bought that item.
And after that happened, everything changed. It was like the entire matchup flipped. Perfect didn't have his item.
I think it would actually be more fair to the spectators if they just hid the Aatrox health bar. Just keep it a mystery, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think maybe fans watching might be like, I think he's in danger. I think he might get hurt.
I thought you meant give everybody Sundered Sky, but that's a different discussion. World Ender coming in here. Clear is very much dead, as it just depends on who's going to get the kill. And they're going to try to give this one over to BDD. Eventually, surely, yeah, okay, there you go. 575 gold.
Bit of a caster curse on that one on the Sundered Sky. Didn't have any rotating teammates over to help him. Took a while to die, but that was more about KT giving the kill to BDD than anything else. So that's a nice kill back here. It puts a dent in the gold advantage and keeps that Aatrox out of the side. And in fact, it's a Tristana now that's starting to threaten this side lane here. Doesn't have any grubs, but does have a massive pushing power here, even at level 14. It's gonna force a big reaction. Hextech Soul means the Hex Gates also allow you to collapse on these side laning champions a lot better, as you can see here on the minimap as they rotate over. BDD knows he can't stay any longer than this, but any farm he can get feels good. Stop it, Peter.
Enough is enough.
There's a very serious playoff game with real stakes. Winner goes to upper bracket. That is not time to be silly.
Yeah. So we have some stats about Sundered Sky. At 24 minutes, 2,595 healing done. And, you know, keep in mind he didn't have this Sundered Sky for quite a while in this game.
Sub 3K? Seems fair, I guess.
Will they get... Yes, they already do have Executioners here for the Renekton.
Yeah. Stop that healing. They got the Chemtech Dragon as well.
They did.
Peter?
Okay, going all in on a clear. He has his flash, but he doesn't have much else. He is going to get jumped on once again by BDD, as the Q2 is going to hit, but eventually he just goes down. It's now KT, very awkward spot, though.
Now the strategy is to spoon feed BDD with Aatrox. He enjoys it, but will it get out?
All right, well, Peter... Okay, he's going to try to run away from this one, but B&K are closing the distance very quickly. KT's just going to leave Peter to the fishes. And with TP available, 20 seconds, maybe they could try to start this Baron. We see a lot of go pings already, and here we go.
I think this is definitely a wise choice. Peter is down. I mean, he doesn't have his ult anyways here. Cuz, on the other hand, does have Magnet Storm. Tristana TP's back in. This is a fairly risky call here from B&K, but they have the setup. You need to see Kellen, I think, positioned around that entry point. Vikla, though, he's the one on the flank.
Duckdom doesn't have flash. I think they want to punish this. You saw Vikla, as you mentioned. Maybe looking for that stun angle.
Target selection has to be good here from KT.
A lot of damage in on a clear. The turn on a BDD, though. They're not going to get him. He flashes out of this one as the Magnet Storm pulls in from Cuz, and he's doing quite a lot of damage in that back line. Not able to, finally they do get Diablo actually on the backside of this fight, and Raptor not able to do anything by himself. BDD cleans up, and KT clean up. They should be able to take this Baron. Even with these low health bars, they will go for it.
You don't kill BDD. You're probably not going to win that fight. Cuz has so much lifesteal. He's so tanky. He has a Zhonya's in his inventory. And with his Kingslayer, he's just like, thank you for the heals. Ends up living so long there, and BDD is ready to go back in with resets. So go back all the way to this play here, trying to get this Aatrox into BDD's checking account constantly. They do set him up for another kill here, but they use a lot to do so, and so B&K do collapse. Just checking, make sure nothing crazy is happening alive. Looks like the answer is no. Peter has to sacrifice himself here, but they say, okay, this is the go angle. This is the opportunity we have. But look at the setup here for KT. BDD, hard to collapse on. The root comes down instantly onto Aatrox. He loses half of his health bar. And Cuz can't quite get in. At the beginning of this, it looks like, okay, I guess maybe this is a win. But no, Cuz gets in, has Magnet Storm here, and by himself gets onto Diablo, and it's just so difficult to kill. Has Zhonya's, by the way. Knows it in his inventory here. Goes for the Rocket Belt into Magnet Storm engage. Look at how low he goes, by the way, by doing massive damage, and then goes Zhonya's. Look at BDD.
The amount of spamming I just saw, that was kind of scary.
Yeah. High APM. Okay. It's a stressful game.
All right.
You can understand the relief.
Is his keyboard okay, though? I don't know. Like, can we get a check-in? I'm not sure. I'm a little scared.
He's got a backup, for sure. And both these teams have a backup because this is just game 3. It's not the match decider, but KT do finally swing the pendulum back to their side off the Baron secure. They have Soul Point now as well. Hextech Soul, a lot of big tools for them after lurking.
Cuz got so much money from that last fight. It's actually insane. Level 16, up 3 levels on Raptor.
I would like one Rift Maker, please.
Yeah.
He farmed so hard. Look at how much farm
it.
he has over Raptor. And he's had it the whole game. Like, he's just been way out farming this Skarner, and now he's starting to farm some kills as well. It's a massive Sylas. The Sylas pick coming up huge for KT. As did the Magnet Storm in that last fight. So the Grubless Tristana, but a Tristana at level 16 nonetheless. But Baron, they just toss it and perfect.
Yeah, he's just getting CC'd down 100 to 0. He's just dead.
That's not great for KT.
I don't know how he got caught like that. He's Renekton with Flash. It must have just been like a vision play because he was standing in the brush and they just... I mean, we panned over and Vikla had Tibbers on him already.
If you look at the tools that KT have to collapse on a team trying to collapse onto a target like that, like if you get the re-engage, you have like Flash, Nico ult, it's all fine, but they weren't set up to do that. Like, look at where he is and look where Peter is. Like, if Peter and Cuz go in on this, I think it's almost winnable, but Perfect is just a bit too far away. I think that's why he was there, because he's like, oh, if they go on me, I press R, I press Q, Peter comes in. And
oh, the fake with the minion comes on in. Clear is dead again.
Clear having a bit of a rough one here in Game 3, is constantly the focus of Peter. Taken out again. And now KT, I mean, this Baron was pretty successful. Didn't open the base, but the gold lead has practically doubled to 4K. This gold graph is going to look very funny at the end of this game. And this Tristana is on 3 items. Hit level 16, and I'm trying to see the ways back in here for B&K. Sure, they got the pick onto Perfect when he overextended, but just press R together doesn't necessarily work when you don't have map control. So they're going to need to try to get some of that back right now. They are setting up for some vision here. IE now done for BDD, though. So I take it back. He's a 4-item Tristana.
I mean, they're clearing out vision, but it's very early, 2 minutes ahead of time.
I just think they can't fight if they don't have vision. And if they can start a vision fight in the future, when KT come up here and try to clear that, maybe that's their best bet. They kind of just have to stay grouped, and Clear just has to kind of sit in the side lane and TP in, probably on a flank, which requires wards. So B&K need to play the ward game here. They need to play it well if they are going to ever win that miracle team fight where the combos come through. Cuz is just so big. He has the biggest gold lead in the game. You can see him on the player cam right now. He is locked in. He's shaking.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit worried about whatever button he was pressing. Probably the Zhonya's in that fight. Hope it's doing okay. Skateboards can get a lot of mileage, though. And now, you know, it's a bit of a standoff in mid lane. This is what we're going to be looking for the next minute or so. A bit of a K-Ram. Nobody really wants to side lane in this one.
Kellen's the best engaged till he has flash and ult, right? But the split is too good for KT.
Duck stands right in front of them. Is going to live, though. And now Diablo's got a big croc right on top of him. Nothing they can do to peel for him. Diablo goes down. Down goes Clear as well. And I think KT just has enough. Kellen going to be sniped. Double kill for BDD. And it should be enough here in this mid lane. The K-Ram doesn't last very long.
I mean, Duckdom is caught. He's in range of the flash engage from Kellen, but Kellen needs a multi-man engage. That one target isn't enough. That's the masterclass of this Tristana in the draft. You have so many other threats. They can't even kill Duckdom. It doesn't matter. The split is good for KT. After a rough start in Game 1, they win 2 back-to-back to now go up match point in the series. A red side victory as well, bringing them back to side selection advantage here for the rest of the series. KT looking good, Cuz on fire in that last game. Clear having a bit of a rough time in sides.
But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty and Fearless already in game number 4. Let's do it. Let's hop onto the Rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, game number 4, BNK backs against the wall. KT took a very critical game number 3 that swung back and forth. A little flash hook might come out here from Peter if they really want to force this one. No, just going to be the heel hook, and that's going to force the flash here from Clear.
Yeah, they're flashing for this too. Dukdom hits the Q. But they don't have enough follow-up there. Doesn't go through champions.
That wasn't what Dukdom was looking for.
It's now flashless. Peter is also heelless, so Diablo and Kelvin, the biggest victors, actually, of this exchange, because they have summoner spell advantages in a 2v2 that's quite strong for the Varus, especially because it is lethality Varus with Comet here for Diablo, and they have this Nefiri, known to gank early in winning lanes.
Exactly. You can play very aggressively, even on the top can.
I mean, look at this. At level 1, they're like walking up.
And Clear, you know, he loses his flash, so obviously he's the one who kind of suffers, but also made the play happen in a weird way because technically baited them. But yeah, you can just play safe. Gwen doesn't have Ignite, so there's a lot less kill pressure, and now can kind of just wait 5 minutes and say, okay, now I'm a real champ. But as long as Vi doesn't show up in the top lane, I think we should be fine.
Another hook here from Peter. Not sure if he's really going to like how it eventuates. Does back away. Slight trade advantage here for now, but let's see. Dukdom gets hit by the Q, and we even things up. Tough matchup for the Ezreal in general, but when Peter is already hooked like that, and you have the Pierce that Ezreal does not have, it gets a little bit easier. So what you do with Syndra, by the way, if people haven't watched Syndra in a long time, is you just win almost every lane. You constantly, if you can hit every single Q, push somebody in, and they don't like it. And you get prio, and you stack up your splinters, you become very powerful later on. Hit every CC you can, and you just never let off the gas. And then later, you do it again, and then you press R, and they die. And then in team fights...
Well said, yeah.
In team fights, you scatter and hit a bunch of people, and hopefully your team can follow up.
And BDD is the best at scattering, I would say, out of anyone. I mean, we have some other Syndra players who were mentioning Showmaker, right? But it's not really like a Faker Chovy classic either. Like, I would put a lot of other champs ahead of the Syndra in terms of that for those two players. So.
I mean, Chovy was really good in 2021, don't get me wrong, but like, he was not the mid laner, he was not the Syndra player.
He wasn't the Syndra guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So like, BDD is just, he's got all the angles. Like, the BDD geometry is insane on this pick. So in terms of long-range engage to set up the rest of your engage and pick, and, you know, some damage from the Ezreal, which you're really going to need. You know, you think about like Needles and Mystic Shot, it should be enough to poke someone out if they get hit by a scatter, even in the mid to late game.
100%. It's the same idea behind like, you know, Leona Ezreal. If somebody gets stunned, you WQ them, and then you keep queuing them, and then, you know, that person is chunked out as they get pushed away. There's so much follow-up damage here, so much burst in this composition for KT. It's hard to miss a scatter on someone who's ulted by Vi as well, as it turns out. So some power there as TP back. Started again, never let off the gas. As you can see, most champions have to build magic resistance into Syndra as a result of this. Like, we see Syndra versus Corki, builds the Hex Drinker first because you have to.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Kellen is...
Did he take a turret shot? Like, he got so low.
He does not want Peter to hold this wave. -1. There you go. Mission successful.
Peter. He is walking in a straight line at Kellen and Diablo. Not scared of anything.
Raptor is here, by the way. Dukdom just eat, but this is a Nefiri, so he doesn't care about that too much.
Yeah, you see the ping where the Scryer Bloom went off, so they know 100%. Vikla already TP'd back to lane. He's not feeling very good about his situation here into Syndra.
It's just how it goes. Vikla's a bit young for this matchup. Hadn't quite joined the LCK when this was the meta, where it was Orianna versus Syndra almost every game.
I also feel like Orianna has a really good matchup into many other meta mids, but not into Syndra, who is not a meta mid. So for Vikla, this must be really tough, where he's like, I pick Orianna, I first pick Orianna, I should win any lane. from what's left, and now he's just getting bullied by BDD instead.
The Syndra, like, the challenge of Syndra is hitting all of your orbs. And then obviously scatters, right, later on, but if you just hit every single orb, you win every matchup early. You're like, I'm doing damage to you and you can't reach me, I'm doing damage to you and you can't reach me. The challenge is to hit them, but if you're BDD, you don't miss those. Perfect is going to catch this wave here and catch up on farm. I'm taking too much of a look at this. The Ignite was used early. Clear has his flashback now, excuse me, and has evened up. The farm is straight up dead even between these two right now. We saw that early attempted gank from Raptor. He didn't commit. Peter is making me very nervous with his positioning in this game. Calculated.
Yeah. Very good at dodging the tongue. And that's very important when you're playing Nautilus.
It's really hard to gank this lane right now as Nefiri because it's not winning hard enough. They're not able to crash. And it's also Duckdom and Peter just sitting under turret, you know, so it's not like they're pushed up. We've seen kind of both ways for Raptor, and hit level 5 and hasn't really had an impact in this game. Very different from the previous two Nefiri games we saw from this guy in play-ins. And with no prio in mid, and honestly with the amount of prio he has top, it's kind of a liability. Like, you can't really gank there either. Just going to be farming it out to 6. 6 hit for Cuz at the same time.
Barrier. Just trying to exist against Syndra.
Yeah, that's what everybody's trying to do.
It's kind of interesting that they've just left Diablo here. They're like, okay, well, Vicla's really struggling.
Vicla's like, I don't want any more of this.
So we're just going to send Diablo there. And now Vicla is in a 1v2 himself and in a little bit of trouble. Going to flash away. There's the shockwave. Yes, we'll get the barrier out of Duckdom, but also had to burn his flash.
There was not a lot of vision for KT in that river, or I think Duckdom might have flashed on him and killed him, but he just doesn't have enough info to do that. Ult's gonna commit!
Chain's gonna come down, and the Syndra, not very mobile, in a lot of trouble, but the R does come out, and Cuz will be able to secure the kill, but now he's in a rough spot himself, has to flash Q out.
Clean
Pretty
flash
smooth.
Q, yeah, that was actually, I thought he was dead for sure.
Yeah.
Still going to be a huge wave lost from BDD. He's going to pick up all that money himself, so they get something out of it, but really nice setup there. Diablo hitting max range on the ult. The follow-up from Kellen was very quick on the Tom Kench. And this is the problem with Syndra. You're winning and you're pushing and you have to... Oh, a bit of a steal.
That looks like old Ezreal ults.
Yeah. Okay.
Stealing objectives.
They're still coming over here, by the way. Raptor has Smite. Doesn't have... Okay, there he goes.
Yeah. Smite it down. Peter is very ahead of his team. And so the scatter's going to come down. The engage. Tom Kent comes in, and Kellen's flashing in. BDD, no flash himself, and the Gully Wall not going to land. Phase Rush OP gets him out.
Yeah, that was a very wonky exchange there. Peter was like 1 minion away from hitting level 6, as you could see on his XP bar at the bottom right of your screen. I don't know if that was necessarily going to save him or win that fight for them, but he went very deep and did instantly regret it. So go all the way back to this play here. Look at this Chains of Corruption. Diablo gets hit, but still is able to get his ult off before he's stunned. And then Kellen follows up. Raptor goes in with the ult. It's a big burst there onto BDD, but Diablo gets so low in the exchange that Cuz is able to get him and then flashes to make sure the Q does not get blocked by anybody. He gets away. And we kind of reset to a relatively even game state after it all. It was that grub fight. KT only secure 1 of the 3 after what looked like was going to be a big win for them. Peter gets picked off. Enjoying the action in this one.
Yeah. Looks like we found a lane for Vicla to exist in up against the Gwen. I don't think Perfect's going to have a very fun time in this lane, so might be something they look at.
They're like, wait a minute, you built the magic resistance. You got Merc Treads. Yeah, this will be the lane for you.
Yeah.
Peter's like, nah, I'm going to go get him. Didn't quite get him.
No lane is safe if Peter is there, but just dodge and you're fine. Tier 2 boot's going to help out with that.
Yep, we have the matchup of Syndra into the Yorick now, which is... Can't say I've seen this one too much, but...
You can just grab the maiden, by the way.
I was going to say, like, that part feels fun. And in fact, BDD almost takes it out. It's going to be a pretty even lane, though, I think, for now. We'll get a little bit tougher for BDD later on. And the next objective is this dragon, right? Certainly, eventually, we will group for it. One of these two teams will. Perfect has TP, but is going to use it to go back to the lane. Vikla doesn't have TP, so we'll just match that. If it is going to be a fight, it'll be a 4v4. Peter actually has a ton of prio right now, is trying to get some vision. And I don't think he will pay for it.
Yeah.
We'll lose the ward. And with the back timing of clear, it's actually just going to be a free plate over to BDD. And certainly, the dragon will eventually get a look. You know, neither team has enough prio to commit to it right now.
Yeah. I think if there's a team that's willing to just start it up a little bit risky, will be B and K.
And B and K, if they had Vikla here, I think they could just start it up. Like, if Vikla was in the bottom lane and not the, you know, less than one item Yorick that can't really team fight, then I think they do start it. They look for a turn off the Orianna. Raptor has his W, right? But instead, it's Yorick down here. They do, in fact, start it anyways, because they get this mid-prio here with Diablo. Tom Kench in the River Brush. And despite Clear not being very good at team fighting, they just get enough prio here, and he's good at hitting a dragon. That much he will do. And finally, at nearly 12 minutes into the game, that first mount will go over. Could have another Hextech Soul, crazy as it is.
Yeah. Or Chemtech, we could have that. Some very tech-heavy dragons available.
Yeah.
Not feeling very primitive.
No.
The Thunder Sky done here for Cuz. Got that first kill. And from there has skyrocketed into the lead. Big
angle.
Yeah, gonna go in. The shockwave actually pretty good on a perfect, but eventually he just dies. Elects not to flash.
Oh, his flash wasn't up yet, I think, for like 3 more seconds.
Oh, wow.
And like that timing is kind of brilliant. The Vikla just gets his flashback right after he's killed.
Very unfortunate for him then.
Yeah. Maybe we calculated here by KT. They saw his flash, they mark it with the ping, and then he doesn't have it there. Either way, it's a really crisp engage. 6 seconds away, just got the confirmation when he was taken down, so very, very close. Hard to even see on the UI. And that's a big win for KT Rolster. Vikla taken out of the exchange. And look at this, Tom Kench coming up, the Fury coming up. The timing for this for KT could, like, the margins were so thin, and his ult was fantastic. Doesn't have flash, sadly, Cuz does.
Kellen almost got there too for the Devour.
Like, Clear's here, Raptor's almost there. Like, doesn't get unluckier than that for Vikla, or more calculated for KT.
It's actually the perfect timing. It could not have been better.
Getting away with murder, quite literally there.
Yeah, if Kellen was there just a little bit sooner, could have easily turned that play around. Could have gone wrong, but instead, it's just a nice win for KT. And still a very even game at this point. You know, you got leads in some places on the map, like Cuz is ahead. Obviously, he has that first item, but so does Raptor with his Profane Hydra. And then, of course, the bottom lane here for B&K ahead with a couple of kills on Diablo.
Perfect is going to be the target here. There's a lot of KT members coming down. They have to be fast. Shroud is down now.
Yeah, just going in. There's a couple of ults just thrown in a perfect, and Diablo going to last hit that one. Says thank you very much, team. Picks up his third kill.
Very clean and no real cross map for KT because they rushed over to try to defend this and failed. So they're all just kind of here to watch. And maybe we could even see a follow-up dive.
Got that nice hook onto the mini wolf.
Yeah, and then a missed Chains of Corruption to follow it up. So we're missing everywhere on that one. And at the end of the day, B&K still like what the eventuality of those plays looked like. This game is so even right now. And, you know, B&K can keep themselves in it because this comp is very easy to execute dives on because you have the Nefiri W, you have Devour. You can just hard force this no matter what. Like, straight up, there's just no living if KT don't show up. They try to show up, they're a little bit late. But this Varus is becoming a problem very quickly, and the play on it so far has been pretty strong for Diablo. Has been the main character here for B&K in this series. Raptor not quite making the impact he did in play-ins in this one, but game's far from over. I'm still wondering what BD is going to look like in team fights on this Syndra because it's challenging to pull off, not consistent damage. Now, this is the mid laner you go Luden's Companion on because you're not looking to do long-term damage. You're looking to do burst, you're looking to kill a single target.
Yeah. I mean, they just have so much access. The only question is, you know, can they deal with Tom Kent's with Redemption if they get far behind, right? Like, you've got all these different things that pick off targets, but they don't do a whole lot of consistent damage outside of Ezreal. So, yeah, you might be able to get that first target. I mean, I guess they have Gwen, who I kind of forgot about, but
she's melee,
they need to be in a good spot after they do get the pick to actually do the damage.
Exactly, because Diablo's going to do a ton. As Raptor's the target here.
Yeah, going on in. There's that pick. No chance as Kellen gets in.
They barely get him again. Like, he's not even, he's chain CC'd. He can't go untargetable. Kellen's too late, and this is going to be Herald for KT.
Yeah, looks like Diablo's already going mid. And Bigla's like, well, can't do this alone. And a nice pick off here from KT, utilizing that composition to get even further ahead.
Diablo channeling that Q for a long time, sticking around. He got nervous for him, gets the pedals, and gets out, truly. It's already pushed in, Diablo. You don't need to walk up like that. Gonna give B&K fans a heart attack. Like
they're used
already
to it.
did. Yeah.
They're used to it.
I think both fan bases here.
Yeah.
Another dive setup. Cuz doesn't have his ult anymore, but it's the lone Yorick. Does have flash.
He's got his flash. He's got the maiden.
Teammates coming up.
The whole team is here. And the Nautilus goes into the Rift Herald. Doesn't have his ult. Cuz has to get in the Rift Herald, but it's just going to be smoked down. 69 health. And Cuz is going to get out just barely. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't think they can catch him.
Nope.
He charges another Q and gets out. Diablo was trying to charge his own to lock him down, but maybe they can turn this into a turret take here on the top side. Empowered recall for Cuz. He's going to send him home quickly. This turret's pretty healthy, actually. That's a Gwen.
All right, they want to try to lock down this Nautilus as they can't quite do it. The exhaust is going to help out there big time.
Duckdom looking for some extra damage here. It's actually quite a lot he gets. Even potentially stop some backs, not going to. They still didn't get this turret yet because they put everything into Peter. He gets away. Perfect clears the wave. And this turret's still sitting at 65, 70% health here. This next wave will crash in, though. Will do significant damage because they have two grubs. Cuz is just going to take the dragon, though, in exchange. Cuz is having an insane day, by the way. Like, if they win this game, I think he picks up POM for sure. Look at this angle. Denies cone, gets the chain CC there with a scatter. No chance to go untargeted. Beautiful call from Cuz and KT. And that's the power of Vi Syndra. And then here, like, this gets a little bit funky, as Clear does have flash, is able to get away. The escape from Cuz. So frustrating. This is why Heralds get used in teamfights sometimes now as well. Avoids the Q there from Raptor and gets out. And now KT are going to get their own turret down here in the bottom lane.
Pretty insane what they have been able to get away with, I would say, in this game so far. And KT's comp from a lead is amazing because they can kill literally anybody. They will have the damage because of their lead. Peter is just dead.
Yeah, Peter can't kill literally anybody, but if they're all together, yeah, I agree with you, for sure.
Yeah, he looks a little bit embarrassed after that one. Not sure exactly what was going on there, but...
to set up vision around the dragon that spawns in 4 minutes. Nah, you wanted to help us, you know, have vision for side lane.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Peter's never made a mistake in his life, so.
He is actually perfect. You might think perfect is the top laner for KT, but actually it's the support.
Perfect may just be a goner here.
Yeah, it might be. So we're going to have the mist come down, but the shockwave inside of it is going to help out quite a lot. Doing a bit of damage there to Raptor, not bad.
Cross map potential here. Looking for the Hex Flash. Looking for Kellen.
Ooh.
Just Kellen.
Just Kellen things.
Nice dodge. All right, well, this did not go well for KT across the map. They lose Perfect after we made a bunch of jokes about Peter, who also died right before that. Then they weren't able to get the cross map, and a lot of minions were lost in mid lane.
Yeah.
So Perfect here. I think he's in a much more comfortable position if Raptor doesn't have red buff, but he does, and Raptor's able to get on top of him, and now he just knows he's dead. Has his mist, but Shockwave is just going to do too much damage, and Vikla helps auto him down. So 2 kills here, some lost farm in mid, and suddenly Diablo's on 4 kills. You don't have that same control we were talking about. You know, you talked about how good this comp is from ahead. Its turn is fantastic. C target, lock it down, blow it up. A little bit tough in this one now that the control is back in B&K's favor. And they have so many protective tools here for this FEARX.
We're just doing Otacon.
Yeah, but like KT don't have any vision. They don't have any way to get back in here.
They can bait the TP out as well if Perfect decides to utilize that. But yeah, they're just able to walk on in and stop that from happening.
Perfect cannot interrupt the TP of Vikla, but Vikla can do the opposite. So really tough to calculate how much they can really commit here, KT. But they reset, B&K that is, and then clear this mid wave and they'll probably go again. It's not enough vision control this time around. Some of it's cleared, but there's that ward over the wall there. Remember that for B&K, this is not their tournament life on the line, but it would be a spot in the upper bracket if they can win this series. They need to win this game and then the final game. So some caution, I think, makes sense. Just don't want to lose your killer instinct, your killer's edge here in this game.
I do feel like whoever does win this gets snap selected by Gen G. Like, Gen G can't select yet because the match isn't over, but I think the second it ends, like, whoever wins is going to face off against Gen G. I think that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, they might have sent it in already, whoever wins this series.
Preemptively?
Yeah, we choose. Doubtful, to be honest, because that's not really how teams operate, but
yeah,
for our narrative, we'll say maybe. The Murmon is about to transform here for Diablo, and this is a very, very powerful fight for the side of B&K because once again they have full vision control, they have great turn, and there's just no way for the Syndra to do anything when you can't see where to scatter. If there's no setup for the Syndra, like BD can do nothing in this scenario. From behind, so tricky here. Duckdom gets some poke down, but they pull off of the Otacon. They just really want the fight. They don't want the Otacon. This is kind of B&K's MO. They're using the Otacon very well in this series, but if you just kind of say, well, if you're not going to fight us, then we'll take the Otacon, then you can actually get the Otacon, you know? They decide not to in this case. They don't like it. They don't like the setup.
Yeah.
Not perfect for them. Again, they don't want to drop down to lower bracket off a Otacon flip.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to play around the Otacon. You know, we don't have to be scared about them starting it up because we just know that they're just utilizing it for map pressure.
It's Hextech Soul again, which is insane for both of these teams, by the way, with Israel and Varus. So that Dragon might be a look, but instead, first we're going to tank it up with Diablo.
Yeah, I don't
know if I like that.
I don't know about that. And B&K are just saying, like, okay, we'll give up one Hextech Drake, we'll take the Otacon, but can't you just say you're not getting Otacon?
Yeah, now they get denied Otacon. Duckdom gets some serious damage done onto this turret, and it's actually going to be Otacon control, but also Dragon. To KT, they can put this Gwen because Gwen does such insane DPS, and they knew every single member of B&K, including the jungler, was topside. Perfect can just go on this alone while KT continue to contest Otacon. Did so much damage there in that last little exchange. And Diablo, that's so hurt that he's so battered and bruised, he needs to go home 100%. KT are like, thank you for Dragon. Cuz shows up just to press the D key and take it home. And B&K once again going to reset now towards the top side of the map and try to clear vision, but KT just ran quite literally circles around them in that last exchange.
And they just got feats of strength as well off of that play, just getting the Dragon. Almost 24 minutes into the game, they secure that, so it was pretty close, actually. Just one objective away. And now B&K trying to set something up in mid, but just got to be so careful.
Like, when you have vision like this as B&K, you can absolutely threaten the Otacon. And once again, you could just put somebody on it like Raptor and look for the same setup we saw. It's not quite as easy as it was with the Vikla Talia game in game 1, but you can start that up and look for a pick as KT rotate over. And if they don't, then you can take the Otacon. But if you kind of just go, I hope they walk into our bush, and then when they don't, you go, well, okay, I guess we'll just go back to mid, then you don't get anything. And maybe we gave them a little bit too much credit on the Otacon setup in game 1. But again, I think this is nerves a little bit because of the stakes at play here in this game.
Yeah, a lot of stakes up for grabs. We did have Alistair. Yeah, Alistair was in game 2. Okay. Looks like we did have Alistair played. Yeah, it was played.
Just one stake in this game.
The only stake champion. And yeah, just gonna take down mid turret and maybe just the Otacon as well.
See, KT know they can just hide in the bush and have one person do the Otacon and look for a trap, and if they don't show up, then you just get the Otacon. KT are knowers, Cuz is a knower. Cuz ready for his palm, man. He's ready to win this game 4.
Just do Otacon.
Apparently.
All right, trying to gank an Ezreal. This is why they picked Ezreal. Well, not necessarily to get away from Tahm Kench, but to survive against potential Orianna combos. And now, they're just going to take Otacon. BNK seemingly have no idea. And the wave clear is there. Otacon comes down, Redemption utilized.
It's either a surprised look on Clear's face when it was taken, but I don't know where they thought Cuz and BDD were, but we're on Otacon, and down it goes. Freebie here for KT. Giving them a pretty significant experience lead. Duck Dom the target.
Oh, Duck Dom in a bit of trouble. Has to flash over the wall, but that's not going to stop Raptor as he goes super deep for that one. Ult to use on a Raptor. He continues in on a Peter. Just trying to get away from this one. Doesn't have his own flash. Perfect on the Gwen. He's got a very nice angle with his needles, but he doesn't have any teammates. Finally, we are going to have Cuz come in. And the scatter on a 3 in the pit as Cuz sets it up and BDD knocks it down.
That's way too many members of BNK going in. Very deep there. Raptor trying to get the secondary ult onto Peter. It's in the wrong spot. Cuz takes his head off. Goes in for the re-engage. The follow-up scatter is phenomenal. And I think that is the end of the chances of BNK moving to upper bracket. Raptor goes on to Duck Dom here. As you can see, Baron is, of course, being taken in live after the wipe. Duck Dom has to flash out. He's collapsed on here. And from here, you'll play this very differently, I think, than BNK decide to. They could have looked for BDD, could have looked for any sort of topside. Instead, Raptor isolates himself looking for the Nocturne, or the Nautilus, rather. And then, watch this from Cuz. Flashes in, ults into the pit, BDD flashes for the follow-up. If that's not trust and mid-jungle synergy, I don't know what is, but
Cuddy
damn. Cuddy D,
it's
baby.
the return of Cuddy D, man. It's too good.
Oh, that was crazy to watch.
Yeah.
I think if BNK played towards the top side of that fight, though, things look so different. The pick on the Duck Dom, that's fine, but after that, going a little bit too far into the KT territory, a little bit too far into Cuz's territory, which right now is the whole of Summoner's Rift.
He has the most XP, the highest level in the game, above everybody as a jungler. I think he's definitely the palm, and not just one of those recency bias palms either. He is just the player of the match.
Yeah, if you think about the most recent series he was in, I think, yeah, he did well in all of the games. Maybe not game one as much, but
Nobody there. They're trying to get on top of a Gwen. That's not working out. The Nefiri just disappears underneath the Gwen, and oh my god. Cuz is actually just an assassin vibe.
Yeah.
He's so fed and so strong.
FEARX is trying to hold the wave here, but I mean, this one does get through. Baron buffed up. And with the empowered cannon minion, they just eventually will siege this through. They don't even need that one. And keep it alive and actually look for that bottom inhibitor turret as well, as this is just a formality watching this one. Even if he lives, which he likely will die.
There, you might as well fight. Oh, well, he's dead.
They are losing their base. This is the real story. Ooh. All right, well.
Yeah, well, that looked pretty cool, but
that's what we call a near hit.
Yeah.
Israel likes to call it that, actually.
It's still a 9,000 gold lead. It's still going to be Hextech Soul Point. And Cuz is 3 Atom Vi and the strongest person on the Rift.
Yeah.
All right, we're ganking perfect. I mean, he is very alone.
Yeah, he is also very 200 gold bounty.
Yeah. He is very 200 gold bounty, that is for sure. 3v1, can they kill perfect is the answer, or the question rather, as the needles are insane, and now BDD and Peter are coming on over. They turned the fight around. The game was already over, but this really sealed the deal.
KT, phenomenal performance here in this final game, and Cuz, sure, he got seismic shoved and he was a ragdoll with Peter in game one, but for the rest of the series, this man took it into his own hands.
Oh boy. Yeah, Vikla, you see the rest of BNK, they're even sitting out of their seats at this point in time. They know the game is over. 30 minutes and KT get it done. A swift 3-1 victory from them. They forget all about game one and they take it down, and they will be moving on to face off against Genji. Most likely, we don't know who Genji has selected just yet, but But KT still looking strong, at least in this match against B&K.
Yeah, I mean, you and I could probably go on a 45-minute tirade about how, even though KT won their series more decisively, Genji would pick KT in every scenario, but I don't think we have to do that here. You guys could just wait and let's see the results for yourself. KT 3-1 here over B&K. At the beginning of the series, it looked like maybe it was going to be more interesting. Even in game 2, it looked like it was going to be more interesting, but the last 2 games were certainly